Wait. I have a message. Okay, wait. Oh, let me take my socks off. Holy shit. Okay, once I need to get TikTok Studio opened up. Opened up. Okay. And then we can get some maggots, meglards, megtart. Wait, I can say, as I'm altering to, I can say the R slurs as much as I want right now. Retard. Retard. Oh my god, I need to look at my message requests more. I'm dumb. Holy shit. Okay, let me test my audio real quick. Testing. One, two. Loki sounds about a bit echoey. Um. Okay. How does that sound? One, two, three. One, two, three. That sounds okay. It's a little bit like echoey. I can turn the gain down a little bit, so hopefully it makes it better. If you're on the YouTube side, thank you for tuning in, and by thank you for tuning in, I think holy shit. I mean, just talking to myself, really. Holy shit. Welcome to Scratch's Live. Your mega request up. If you're not mega, stay here because I want the viewers. Give me money. Give me gifts. Like the live. Let's first. I'll let the first person up once we hit 1K likes. That's what we'll do. So give me the 1K likes. Let the first mega up. Detected suspicious activity? What? Did somebody just report me? Wait, did somebody in here just report me? Somebody, my live just got like visibility restricted. I don't even know like what the fuck I did. Like I seriously didn't do anything to get reported. I think I was the only one here and I didn't report. Yeah, I was wondering if it was you. Fuck. Suspicious activity. Dude, this is what. Okay, it's hard being a black man out here. Okay, you go live, you show your face. TikTok. I don't know. That's kind of suspicious activity. Being black and doing a live. I don't know if I'm gonna allow that. It's hard out here. Oh my god. Well, if you're just coming in, guys, please like the live. Let's try. Once again, I'll let the first mega up at 1K likes. Hopefully, within the first 10 minutes here, we can try and get up to at least 10K. But it's, what up, bro? It's not okay. It's funny, bro. Not cringy. It's Scratch. Oh, right, y'all, dude. We were supposed to film the podcast yesterday, but Cringy didn't even remember till like 10:30 at night when everybody was tired and wanted to go to bed. He's so dumb. The argument there's okay. If any of you aren't paying the arguments that I'm hearing when it comes to Trump taking over like the National Guard or federalizing them in DC and taking over the police, like, are so dog shit. Like, here's how the average argument goes. Okay, hey, I think it's probably unnecessary that the president of the United States is taking over the DC police and federalizing National Guard and sending them into DC when crime is at a 30-year low, and at least according to me 3 months ago, crime is down 25%. So words. Well, you see, the numbers are skewed. The police chief literally got suspended because the numbers were being skewed and direct to lower crime. Okay, even if that is true, does that completely invalidate the 30-year trend of crime being down? And on top of that, is your argument that because we don't know the crime data, that automatically means we should be going in there and federalizing National Guard and taking over power? Is that like, oh, we don't know what the crime rate is, police state? And like, that's the logic we're using? And then they'll just do emotional appeals. Oh, well, the little black girl unalive in DC. It's like, oh my gosh. There's no like actual engagement with the substance. It's just either appeals to emotion or like bringing up stuff that isn't relevant or they wouldn't even agree with, because the logic just doesn't make sense. If you didn't know the data, you wouldn't automatically assume that crime is like out of control and send in the National fucking Guard. It's just so unnecessary. Okay. All two people in my live. Thank you for coming in here. Do I still have I still have a restriction, I think. That's such bullshit. I literally didn't do anything. Oh, I think I might actually have to reset. What you do? I'm back. You guys think I wouldn't come back? The algorithm tries to censor me. Mega tries to censor me. I'm here. As a conservative one time, or Mega told me in an argument one time, I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm here to take your children, okay? That's an argument I had. There was there were protests, I think it was like back in 2016, where people it was obviously it was a joke where people were like going around protesting saying like, I'm here, I'm queer, I'm here to take your children. It was like mocking like the groomer narrative that was coming out at the time, around the midterms in Biden's presidency. And I had like Mega unironically like talking to me on Discord, like citing that, saying, look, they're actually trying to like, I was like, holy shit, you're like, for people who say they can like take jokes and people say like comedy is legal again, like, y'all really don't know when people are being ironic and like mocking you. It's really that was a fun time. I'm back though. Okay, we're gonna get some. We're gonna get some Meg in here.
Yeah, funny joke that was.
What?
You were coming to convert your kids. It was not a funny
Yeah,
joke.
you don't get it's ironic. You don't get it.
Yeah, not a funny joke. That had the opposite effect.
It was mocking you guys.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay, what's
Not a good
okay?
idea.
What's not fun?
So
Okay, so can you
so yeah,
okay like okay so once again like if you like if well a lot of times what Mega will do is just like come out and say ridiculous things about like the Democrats or say ridiculous thing about the left in general, and then and then in response the left is like saying, oh yeah, that's totally, absolutely, we're totally trying to do that. That's absolutely, we're trying totally trying to take your children. Like you understand like the irony there. They're not literally saying it's funny to like groom people's children. They're saying the funny part is that you guys will just make shit up about like what the Democrats believe or what like the Democrats want to do or what liberals want to do. That's the funny part.
Yeah. So that offering that you're talking about there, I saw the song. It was I did think it was funny, but it was unfortunate the timing, because if I remember correctly, that bit of media came out before the drag queen story hour issue started,
No, no,
like
that's not true. The
2018.
grooming narrative was what was happening at the time, and that's why that came out. And I was talking about protests.
Yeah, the whole normalization of maps, all that stuff. Yeah, that was pretty
The
gross.
grooming narrative, yes, and it was mocking you guys. It was saying that we don't actually believe in this, but this is what they're making up about us, and it's
Uh-huh.
funny. And it's funny that they're not saying it's okay to groom children. It wasn't the
Yeah, sometimes a political party that puts out a particular narrative, while trying to be positive, that can go horribly wrong and end up in the other direction. Take y'all's
okay. But I hope you
debate
understand,
performance, for example, right?
when you came in here initially, and you said it's not a
Uh-huh.
funny joke. I think you were saying
Yeah,
it's not fun. It's not funny because grooming children isn't okay. But
I'm
you
saying it
put
didn't
it.
work. Yeah,
You seem very serious about it. Okay. But I hope you understand. Like it was just really funny. Like I don't even know if you really addressed the point. It's really funny how like conservatives and MAGA like talk about how like oh we need to have free speech and like we can't even make jokes anymore. And then the left will like make ironic jokes. And then you guys will be like, oh my gosh, how dare you? Or like come out like and take it
yeah,
completely serious. And it's really funny how
yeah.
these people like claim to be like about legalizing comedy and they don't really they're not able to understand like when the left is joking whatsoever.
Yes, comics in general used to find very fertile ground in colleges. They can't do that anymore because of intersectionality,
Are you gonna address
wokeism.
anything I just said?
Well, yeah, I'm dovetailing.
What does that mean?
That means I am taking what you're saying into consideration, and I am offering something that is related to what you are saying.
That sounds to me like you're like I made a point about hey, this is kind of ironic that Mega doesn't understand jokes and comedy when they say that they're all about free speech and being able to make jokes again. And then you're saying, well, I'm gonna branch off into a different subject that's irrelevant to the point that you made.
No, no, it's completely relevant because it's the left that is outlawing comedy. What I said was is that comedy shows used to be done on college campuses. We can't do that anymore because wokeism is absolutely destroying comics.
Do you
They did
disagree?
comics don't even want to go to college campuses anymore because they can.
Do you disagree with anything I said previously?
Well, like I said, I did see the media that you're talking about, the song about, you know, getting after the rights kids. I did see that. I did think it was kind of funny. I do understand that it was maybe formed as a joke, but I'm also saying that that joke fell flat and really pissed off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you'd agree with me. There's a problem with Mega saying and make comedy legal again, and like saying we understand jokes and it's okay to joke again, but then having an inability to understand and then what a joke and what is and what isn't a
Yes.
joke. Okay,
What makes
well,
what
only point
usually
I
what
was
makes
making. Okay,
Yeah, what usually makes jokes funny is that grain of truth that's embedded in every single joke, just like propaganda. The best lies are always have a grain of truth. This way you can build off that truth. But the thing is that the underlying grain of truth in this particular piece of media that you're offering is that LGBTQ is grooming kids. That's not funny. You see what I'm saying? So it damaged the brand with that joke.
no, the underlying grain of truth is that conservatives and Mega and the Republicans in general have a tendency to exaggerate, to not just exaggerate, but completely like make shit up about like what the left actually really believes. Brendan,
Okay.
what do you disagree with when it comes to the prompts?
Trump is corrupt. MAGA is low IQ. MAGA is low IQ. Yeah, I've said many times that if you ask me, is Trump is corrupt, I'll give it to you. He's a real estate, mogul, billionaire, philanderer.
Okay.
Okay, fine. But when you
I feel like that's kind of like a meaningless concession. I don't know if you
well,
actually
sure.
like
Okay.
if I was to bring up like the Eric Adams stuff and Trump's like corrupt quid pro quo, would you concede that was a corrupt action by the Trump administration?
I would need more details on that to make a position on that. But if you
I
look,
don't if
if
Trump is
okay.
corrupt, like I think it'd be pretty easy to say like yeah.
Yeah, but there was an important second part to that statement that I was getting to, and that is this. If you compare the type of corrupt Trump is to the type of corrupt our government has been for decades, vis-a-vis lying to the American people in the world about weapons of mass destruction only to see 1 million unalived Iraqis, I would say that there's no comparison.
Wasn't that
And
Bush?
thankfully, those individuals in our government on the left and the right went after Trump so hard prior to the last election that now he has no choice but to destroy them. And to that, I say, huzzah.
So Brendan, just compare Biden and Trump. So first, I want to first something, and then we can go to comparisons. So Donald Trump, I think it was back in about 5 months ago. Donald Trump's DOJ issued a memorandum to the Southern District of New York's office. In the memorandum, they stated that they wanted to dismiss the ongoing indictment against Eric Adams, and who would be on charges of bribery, and wire fraud, because it was restricting Eric Adams' ability to fulfill the Trump administration's goal when it comes to immigration in New York. It says that directly in the memo. Because of this, 7 prosecutors in the Southern New York resigned, and it ended up with the deputy AG and Pam Bondi dragging in a bunch of attorneys into the office and saying, "We're gonna fire you guys, or you're gonna sign, or one of you is gonna file a motion to dismiss the charges." Right. So my argument would be is that that's a pretty obvious quid pro quo, a corrupt one from the Trump administration, where in exchange for Eric Adams participating in Trump's immigration agenda, the Trump administration is dismissing the charges on Eric Adams, and I think it's generally dishonest and corrupt behavior of any administration to ignore justice and going after corrupt politicians for their own political gain. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, so you would agree. Okay, can you give me?
No, that was me.
Huh? Oh,
It was me,
Brendan,
Scratch.
Would you agree with me
Would I agree with you
that that's
that
corrupt?
the circumstances under which Eric Adams, he didn't get a pardon, did he? They just decided not to prosecute. They exercised
They dismissed his charges. Yes.
So they exercised prosecutorial discretion. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that would be.
Interesting.
But
So
that would be corrupt action by the Trump administration, correct?
Is it? Is it? So it's your position that refusing to prosecute someone is corrupt.
Yeah, it can be, especially when
Change for them doing something for you. Yes.
yeah.
It's actually quite common.
Yes. If so, for instance,
It's quite common that the Justice Department, in lots of instances, makes deals with witnesses in order to lessen or alleviate prosecution. Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of times that can be corrupt.
Okay. Wait. If the Justice Department negotiates with a witness that may have participated in some crimes in exchange for testimony against other crimes, that's corrupt.
Just real quick, do you think it's probably a bad precedent to set instead of going after politicians who are or have potentially done crimes to prioritize your own political agenda over those crimes they potentially have committed? Do you think that's like a bad?
Wow, you really are missing the big picture, aren't you, Cringy?
No.
Yeah, that's the point. You're missing the big picture, and I'm
asking, do you think
that the deep state is far and away more dangerous, more detrimental to this country than Donald Trump is?
I get
who's the deep state?
There's like a semblance of an argument being made here.
Bro, you don't know what the deep state is? Come on.
I'm saying
Noah,
with the zeitgeist.
Noah, stop letting him pivot. He's pivoting onto something else. He doesn't want to actually talk. You don't actually want to talk. You don't actually want to talk about this.
What you're trying to do.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you just a real quick question.
You're trying to drag me to the eye of
yes or no? Do you think it's corrupt of any administration to, instead of going after potentially corrupt politicians, to prioritize their own political agenda?
Sometimes.
Okay. Do you think? Okay. Do you think in this instance where Donald Trump,
you don't want me to elaborate?
Just go ahead and elaborate.
Okay.
Echo Scratch.
He does a little bit. Go on an airplane and then come back in. It should fix your echo. Anyhow, if you're talking about the national crisis that we have right now with regards to the left facilitating an invasion of our country.
True.
If you are asking me whether or not that is more important than whatever sins Eric Adams may have committed, I will laughingly say yes. The immigration agenda is more important than whatever fuckery Eric Adams got into. I hope that's helpful.
Mhm.
Is that helpful?
Yeah,
Cringy?
so just real quick, do you think that it's a good precedent to set that any administration should prioritize its own political agenda over over going after corrupt politicians?
Oh, but now you're asking me to assume that that's a precedent.
I'm
It's not a
asking. No, I'm
precedent.
asking. Do you think that's a bad precedent to set?
It's not a precedent,
Do you
Cringy,
think?
because
I'm
that
saying. Do you
that
think that
suggests
would
that he's
be?
the first
Do you
one to
think?
do
Do
it.
you answer the question? Do you think that
I'm
would be a
trying
bad
to get
precedent to set?
clarification before I answered it. It's not a precedent, Cringy. You got to use a
I'm not
different word.
saying it is. I'm scratch. I'm not saying it is a bad precedent. I'm saying, do you think that would be a bad precedent? Can you answer
Shit,
the
it is
question?
Scratch.
Huh?
I apologize, Scratch. I thought, oh, all right. I know what I did. I saw your other avatar there in the corner, so I assumed you were the other brother. I apologize.
Okay. So,
So wait, you're asking. All right. I think essentially what you're asking me is what Trump did with Eric Adams bad? That's what you're asking me?
no, what I'm asking you is that do you think it would be a bad precedent to set?
You got to stop saying precedent because it's not a precedent.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying, do you think it would be?
You are literally saying, is it a
Like,
precedent?
do you know what
Is it a
future versus there's present versus past tense is?
Yes.
When I say, do you know that when I say, do you think it would be? That means in the future, if
Oh, I see.
if the precedent was set, then of prioritizing your own political agenda over going after corrupt politicians, do you think that would be bad?
Yeah, because it's
Okay,
a
so
national.
I'm glad that you understand my question, and I'm glad that you understand that I'm not saying it is a precedent set, but that it would be. So can you answer the question?
Well, yeah. As a matter of course, Scratch, national interests are going to be more important than individual interests. I would think that would be obvious, right? Or maybe
you
not.
think- so you
National
think
interests are more important than personal interests. Yes,
So you-
Scratch. Yes.
No, not always.
What?
National interest would be more important than personal
Than
interest.
than an individual's
So
interest.
interest.
Yes, we're talking about Eric Adams' whatever alleged crimes, which I think were what, bribery, right?
Bribery and wire fraud.
There we go. I think those are less important than achieving a national goal, which is the elimination of.
But that's because I'm like this is kind of my problem. This is kind of my problem. You agree with that national goal. What if you disagreed with the national goal?
Well, then I better get my ass to the ballot box,
Well,
huh?
then would you say it's corrupt then?
No, I wouldn't think that was corrupt. This
You
is
don't think
that's
it's
how
dishonest
how,
behavior to ignore
no,
going
it's
after?
how good government. Come on,
So you're
on.
saying,
You're
you're
gonna complain
saying
about-
like this is
you're
kind of
gonna
I don't think you actually care about corruption. I don't think you actually care
No,
about.
no, I do.
No,
I
no,
absolutely
no,
care
no,
about
no,
that.
no, no, no.
I just think
no,
there's
no,
a
no,
huge
no, no,
difference
no. You
in
don't really
scale.
no. You don't actually care about if about actually enforcing the laws or justice among
No, I do.
politicians. You are okay with any given president saying, you know what, I don't really care. My own political agenda is way more should be completely and totally prioritized over going after corrupt politicians and getting over them out of
That's
office.
hilarious.
That's
That
literally
is
saying
hilarious.
no. That
No,
is
it's
literally
not.
what you're
It's not
saying.
even
Because
close
you're
to what I'm
saying
saying.
what you're saying is that in all
Jesus
cases
Christ, Scratch.
what you said is that in all cases
You are telling me what I said.
No, wait, let
You're
me use
telling
an
me how
analogy.
I feel.
Let me
Think
use an
about that for a
analogy
second,
real quick.
Scratch.
Let me use an analogy real
Oh, you
quick.
could let me finish. You could try that.
No, I understand what
Oh,
you're
of course not.
saying.
No,
I understand what you're saying. Just
clearly
the way
don't.
it sounds
Neither
to
does
us. One sec. So I understand what you're saying. It's just the way it sounds to us is like you don't care about the means. You don't care about the means as long as the ends are what you like. So, for example, if Trump were to go around and say we're gonna stop immigration to America by unaliving every single person who
False
comes
equivalency.
across the obviously it's not, I'm not saying it's
It is.
equivalent. I'm saying
You're saying I'm all right with unaliving people. It's
no, that's not
Holy
what I'm
shit,
saying.
This is what you
Actually,
leftists do every single time. You
That's
bring up
not what I'm saying.
ridiculous false equivalency.
I'm not saying it's
No,
equivalent.
continue with
Brendan,
your false equivalency. Go ahead.
Brendan, just let me finish. So if just yes or no, if Trump were to say we're going to stop immigration by unaliving every single immigrant who comes here,
I'm not
would you be
answering
okay
that
with
ridiculous fucking question.
Obviously, because obviously the answer is no. So there must be some ways
You
that
didn't
we
even finish
don't.
to answer the question. No.
So obviously there's some ways that we don't
Hilarious.
want obviously there's some ways we don't want people to go through with enacting their agenda, even if we agree with their agenda. So what we're saying is whether you agree with Trump's agenda or not, the way he's going about it is corrupt.
That's it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and this is adorable, right? Because what we're talking about is whatever Eric Adams did. We're talking about a Democrat mayor, right? Just to be clear, we're talking about a Democrat mayor that is going along with other Democrat mayors by saying, "Hey, this is a sanctuary city," which ultimately is we are not going to help the federal government enforce any type of immigration law. Why? Because we don't give a fuck about the people who live here. We would much rather virtue signal hundreds of thousands, and in the case of New York and Los Angeles, 1 million people, in order to completely subvert the laws of the United States. You guys are totally fine with that. But oh my God,
Holy
Eric
shit,
Adams
bro.
picks up a bribe, and you guys are like, oh
Holy
my God,
fucking-
why is he not in jail? While
holy
simultaneously
fucking pivot,
ignoring
my guy.
things like
Yep.
Hunter Biden collecting bribes for his
Jesus
dad,
Christ,
Oh my
and
God.
then
never
impeaching
Holy
Donald
shit.
Trump behind
Ooh.
trying to
Two
get
in one
evidence
statement.
with regards to that criminality.
That's
You guys are
crazy.
hilarious.
Holy shit.
Okay,
Brendan.
so do
Miss
you
me
want to
with your
So-
do you want to
bullshit
address what I said?
about
So Brendan,
caring
my neck,
about corruption.
Can you
And
address
thanks
what
for
I
letting
said?
me
so my
finish,
neck,
Scratch.
my neck really hurts
Appreciate
after.
that.
My neck really hurts after that. Okay.
Right,
My God.
right.
Can you
Tell
address
me you
what I
care
said?
about corruption. Why
you
did
address
Anthony
what I
Fauci
said?
get a pardon again?
Oh
Can
my
you
God.
address
ahead.
what I
Now
said?
Go
he's
ahead and tell
now
me
he's
that
just
one,
ranting.
Can you
guys.
address what I
Would
said?
you care about
Can
corruption?
you address what I said?
Right.
Can you
Actually,
address
good
You
what I
job,
guys
said?
are hilarious.
Can you address what I said?
What are you talking about while I was talking? Address that?
Can you address what I said?
Bro, you didn't say anything. You talked a bunch and didn't say shit.
Okay, I get it. If your
You
IQ
said,
is too low to
here's what you said.
understand
You
what I'm
said,
saying.
let's say the federal government wants to stop immigration by
So-
unaliving people. Would you be
Brendan,
fine with
so
that?
So
Bro,
Brendan,
that was your fucking question. It
So
was
Brendan,
dumb.
so Brendan, just real quick, you understand like the difference between saying I agree with a certain outcome or a certain goal, but the way
No, what I'm
that
trying to
gets
say
that
is
goal
that the
can be
way
corrupt.
jurisprudence works is they are allowed to make deals, but you guys are conveniently forgetting
Nobody said
that
they
because
weren't
you're trying to
allowed.
construct a political narrative around Trump being corrupt, and it's fucking dumb.
Nobody said they weren't allowed. We're saying
Okay,
it's corrupt.
here.
Do you
Let
think
me
it's-
scuttle your
so
entire
I'm gonna,
argument.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you: do you think
Go
it's
ahead, boys.
dishonest?
Go ahead.
Do you think it's
Talk
dishonest
amongst yourself.
if Joe Biden's administration, right? Let's say their end goal is that they wanted to.
Are we going to do another ridiculous
No,
hypothetical?
no. That their end goal is that they wanted to raise taxes on
It's a ridiculous
on
hypothetical.
billionaires
Shocker.
by 500%. Okay, and the way that they were going to effectuate that, one way that they were going to effectuate that, is by making a deal where they say, hey, all billionaires. Okay, I can understand that you guys have a lot
Try
of
and get it out. It'll probably only take another 10 or so minutes to get out.
I
your ridiculous
understand that you guys have
Don't
a
let
lot
me
of
get in your
indictments.
way.
Can I finish? I understand that you guys have a lot of indictments on you guys. Tell you what, I will dismiss all of those indictments on you guys if you promise not to lobby against this policy you're trying to get through. Do you think that would be like dishonest behavior by the Biden administration?
Yeah, I can't address your ridiculous hypotheticals.
Okay.
The best way to completely scuttle
Still
your
not
argument,
engaged.
Fringe, is right here. Listen carefully. Is it normal for the Justice Department to make deals with regards to who they prosecute and when they prosecute them and why? Yes or no?
Not in this respect.
Holy
No.
shit.
Do
You see
just-
that? There was a
wait, can I ask Brendan?
simple spot right there where you could have told
I'll
the
say
truth.
yes. It is. It
and
is
you
normal.
decided
I'll
not
say.
to.
I'll say it. I'll say yes.
I appreciate you being honest.
It is.
Scratch.
It is. It is normal for the Justice Department deals to make deals. It is not normal. Here, would you? Is it normal for 7 prosecutors to resign over an administration asking to?
Which is
dismiss
it?
a case?
Did they
Turn
resign?
down your game,
or were they
Scratch.
fired?
No, they resigned.
They resigned.
Okay, wonderful.
So is that normal?
Is it normal for prosecutors to resign?
Is it normal for prosecutors to resign over the DOJ trying to dismiss an indictment?
The word you're looking for is coerced. You're suggesting that they were coerced. Yes?
No, I said
No.
resign.
No, they weren't coerced. Oh, well then
I'm gonna
I
ask you-
suppose
so I'm
nothing
gonna
is wrong
ask-
with
so
that then.
I'm gonna ask you again. No, that's not what I asked. Is it normal for 7 prosecutors to resign over the DOJ trying to dismiss an indictment?
That would be coercion.
Can you answer the question? Is it normal for the DOJ?
Yeah, it is not normal for anyone to resign after being coerced, if that is the claim, and that claim is true. right? That would even be illegal, wouldn't it, Scratch?
I
Wouldn't
don't
that
think
be
you're
I don't like
illegal?
following.
it's like
I don't think you're
Force
I
someone
following.
guess
to
if you like
resign under
reframe my
coercion?
I guess if you reframe my question and then answer the straw man question of what I asked you, then I guess you can make an argument. I
No,
guess that's one way to do
what
it.
I did was I used logic and reason to show you that
True.
your
True.
debate
Holy
bro
true.
bullshit
Oh
doesn't
my
work.
God, logic and reason. Why didn't
Wait,
I
Brendan,
think
can
of
you
that?
Brendan, can
Holy
you
Well,
track
shit.
Brendan, what
if
are
you're
the
going to deploy logic and reason, I would
okay.
simply say
Brendan,
welcome
what are
to the
the three wait,
GOP.
Holy
Brendan,
shit.
what are the three laws of logic? Just real quick.
It's not a game show.
No, just real quick. What are the three laws of logic?
Again, it's not a game show.
Just answer the question.
It's
This is
kind of
simple.
funny
Well,
because
obviously you don't know
what I
what logic
really
is if you don't
what
know the
I
three laws.
yeah, okay, guys. So what I came up for originally is I wanted to mention something to you, Scratch, because I know based on the debate that you guys did, and I think there's enough time between then and now to address it without catching too much heat. But the only hole that you missed, I mean, you kind of got it half-handedly, right? You weren't very graceful, but you didn't bring up the fact that the subject that they are offering in that debate was bigoted on its face. You almost got it. You did it in a kind of ham-handed kind of way by saying you probably shouldn't talk over, persons of color. That was a little, let's say, indelicate. Had you had mentioned that the idea that all men until no men is bigoted, I think would have gone over a lot better. You think?
Is bigoted?
Yeah,
I
the
don't.
very statement. When you look up the word bigoted,
Yeah,
right?
I don't have
If
enough
you look
logic.
up the word bigoted and then
No.
apply it to that slogan, it is bigoted on its face. If you put people in a category just because they happen to hold a particular opinion, and then you put them in a category with a whole bunch of people that have a similar opinion, then that is by definition bigoted.
I
If
feel
you
like
treat people differently because of the actions of a few, that is bigoted on its face, and that's what the
Brendan.
debate suggested.
Ooh, wait,
So
wait.
wait.
This is actually perfect. Wait. So, I'll agree with you that it's bigoted. So the way they're thinking is they're okay with being bigoted as long as the means, they don't care about the means as long as the ends are correct. They don't care about the bigotry as long as they get the message across.
It didn't
The
matter.
same way that Trump doesn't care if he's corrupt if he gets his immigration thing across. So what we're saying is, even if we agree or disagree with the ends, the way they're going about it is wrong.
True.
So there's an analogy that's not super out there.
Yeah, what you keep trying to say is that the end should not justify the means. Agreed. The end should not justify the means.
Exactly.
But that having been said, what we're missing here is scale, right? Scale is important. When you're talking about the interests of the entire country weighed against the interests of a local district attorney or a local mayor, even if the city is as large as New York City, then the needs of the one pale in comparison to the needs of the many.
I see what you're saying, but I think you have Trump
Like-
derangement syndrome when it comes to
Just
immigration.
understand, like the president, he's saying is that anytime if the DOJ was to literally disregard, in any sense, could literally disregard anybody's indictment if it restricted any president's political agenda at all,
True.
whatsoever, and that would never be corrupt. You're literally
Well,
saying
no,
I
no.
disprioritize. You're literally saying I disprioritize it. The individual political agenda of any given president always trumps going after corrupt politicians or going after people who potentially have committed crimes. Because any given president's political agenda is always on a national scale, and you would always, in very logic, it would always be the many outweigh the few.
Not always. If you had brought up the instance of the crypto, I would have had to agree with you. But you didn't. You brought up Eric Adams.
Crypto has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No, because he's
This is like actually
No,
completely
whoa.
disregarding.
No, I agree with you, Brendan. He is very corrupt when it comes to crypto. He is very corrupt when it comes to the Qatari jet. He is very corrupt when it comes to Trump iPhone. He is very corrupt when it comes to having people stay at his golf courses and pay him. You know.
He's very corrupt.
Yeah, the jet does not count.
It's just to think that we could be in a world where 7 prosecutors resign because they're saying like this is absolutely corrupt quid pro quo. The judge who just ends up dismissing the case says, yeah, this is like pretty obviously corrupt quid pro quo. The Trump administration themselves, in their own memorandum, says, yeah, this is like we're doing this to prioritize our own political agenda. And then I asked Brennan,
Just to be clear,
do you
just to
think
be
this is
clear,
corrupt? No, it isn't corrupt. Actually, we shouldn't go. Who really cares
just to
that
be
the mayor of New York is like could potentially be doing fraud, and the mayor of New York could potentially be taking bribes from foreign officials. Who really gives a fuck about that? What I care is about my own president's political agenda, and that should always trump going after corrupt politicians.
not what I said. You're taking that farther than it needs to be taken. Just to be clear, we're talking about attorneys in Alvin Bragg's office, right? Right?
In Alvin Bragg's office?
Oh shit, I have to go. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. The district attorney that you're talking about is specifically Alvin Bragg's office, correct?
What's Alvin Bragg's office?
Alvin Bragg, Jesus H. Christ. Alvin Bragg is the district attorney of New York. Scratch.
For New York State or
This is the same. No, New York City. We're talking about New York City, right? We're talking about.
but not on a federal level, on a city level or state level.
Which is it? State or city?
Whichever.
Yeah, the
state,
district attorney for Manhattan is Alvin Bragg. So my question to you would be: if we're talking about Alvin Bragg's office, are we also talking about Matthew Colangelo? Was he one of the seven? Was he one of the seven that resigned? Oh, you're not connecting these dots, are you? Scratch. Yeah, Alvin Bragg was one of those attorneys' offices that perverted the justice system to go after Donald Trump. Matthew Colangelo was the number 3 at the at Biden's Justice Department, who stepped down from Biden's Justice Department to go work for Alvin Bragg's office. So, is he counted among these attorneys? Scratch. Yeah, because if so, that would be pretty fucking funny. So,
no, it isn't.
a political weapon fashioned against Donald Trump.
Alvin Bragg is the. Yeah, he's the New York County District Attorney.
Okay.
That would be that's not that's more of a state level. I'm talking about federally. No, that wouldn't be his office.
Yeah,
this is the Southern District for New York.
Yeah.
Office.
Is this the same office that currently employs Letitia James?
No,
these are
federal indictments. You're talking state. You're talking about state.
Okay, so the state or the federal prosecutors have agreed not to prosecute Alvin Bragg for bribery and wire fraud.
No, what? No.
In exchange for what?
No, they've agreed. No, Trump's deputy attorney agreed not to prosecute. Agreed not to prosecute Eric Adams.
Right.
And what's wire fraud in exchange for him helping the Trump administration with their immigration agenda in New York.
Right. So what that sounds like is a prioritization of the people of New York and the economy of New York, and in exchange for the forgiveness of these particular violations. Is that right? That's what you're objecting to?
The exchange of the people and the economy of New York. I guess if that's
what the interests of the people of New York. The Trump Justice Department is exchanging they're exchanging this policy, the safety and economy of the citizens of New York. They're trading that for the prosecution of Eric Adams. Is that right?
I would disagree, because even in the prosecution, one of the things that one of the corrupt actions, like in the entire indictment, is the fact that there was a house that had been fire condemned that Turkish officials wanted to use, and they pressured Eric Adams through bribes previously, and influence it had over him, and to pressure the fire chief for the Brooklyn, for Brooklyn, to like not condemn it or and let them use it. So I think houses have a chance to light on fire. I think that also constitutes safety for the people in New York. I think not going after that and getting people out of office who are willing to do that probably could compromise the safety of people in New York. like corrupt politicians are bad because corrupt actions affect the people of New York too. You understand that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
So I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's prioritize. It's not prior. I wouldn't frame it as prioritizing the safety of New Yorkers. It's prioritizing your own political agenda. That would be the better way of framing it.
And what's his political agenda in context with Eric Adams?
Deporting illegal immigrants in New York.
And that's not something that would happen prior to making that deal?
Yeah.
Wow.
It would have been harder.
I really appreciate you answering quickly, but think about what you just said for a moment.
But
why is it that sanctuary cities are a thing? Why is it that a mayor or a governor can ignore federal law with regards to?
You're breaking up really badly, Brendan.
Because that's what a sanctuary city is ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah,
or refuse to comply with federal law enforcement.
The 10th Amendment exists.
Wow.
It's not non-compliant.
Okay.
They just don't have obligations to enforce federal law.
Well, they're not asking for enforcement. They're asking for notification ultimately because ICE comes down. ICE.
No, Trump is asking him to help enforce federal law. That's what's happening.
No state or local agency has the ability to deport an individual. So anyone that is now under the gun for a deportation has got to enter the specific Article 2 halls of Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I didn't say that state and local governments can deport people. I said they don't have to help ICE
right
and help federal organizations.
Right. Well, right. Well, you implied it.
Federal law.
The enforcement of the law in this case would be deportation. And because an Article 2 court cannot affect deportation, or I'm sorry, because an Article 3 court cannot affect deportation, it then must fall to the Article 2 courts to do so.
So I'm going to ask you, I don't even know how any of that was relevant to what I was talking about. So can I ask you, is part of enforcing laws like deporting immigration, right? That deportation is knowing who is an illegal immigrant. Is that part of it?
Well, obviously, because you can't deport.
You think it would be helping the federal government enforce federal law if states were informing the federal government who was and wasn't an illegal immigrant?
No, that's not what they're asking for. They're simply asking for notification when they have an individual in custody who may have or has violated federal immigration law. That's all. Because if they find themselves, and this is the point, right? Because we're trying to deport not just illegal immigrants, but criminals. So when a state or local jurisdiction, like a city jurisdiction, finds an individual in their jails, all they're asking that to be done is that those agencies reach out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement to inform them that they are in custody so that they can then be deported. Sanctuary cities and states specifically don't do that, which is all we are asking that they do.
Yeah. So when I say breaking federal law would include being a legal immigrant.
Yeah, that's against the law.
So I don't know why you felt the need to correct me there. Okay, so once again,
because you said something that was factually incorrect.
No,
we're not asking. We are not asking state and local to deport.
That's something what I said. I said, do you? No, that's not what I asked.
You said
enforce. I never said anything about deportation. You're lying.
You said enforce immigration law.
Yeah, and you agreed part of enforcing immigration laws, knowing who isn't and is an illegal immigrant. And I said, and then my argument would end from there that states under using 10th Amendment don't have an obligation to notify the federal government who is an illegal immigrant or who has not broken immigration law.
Now we're getting to where the metal meets the meat, aren't we? This idea that governors...
I don't know why you feel the need to be so obtuse in every single conversation we have.
Well, because, like good propagandists, what I'm trying to do is preserve what truths you offer while at the same time challenging the bits of nonsense that are woven in.
There was no bits of nonsense that was woven in there. I said something that was completely correct.
I just articulated the bit of...
And you tried to critique me on something I wasn't saying.
No,
in fact,
you said
my argument.
No, you said that the expectation is that local and state enforce immigration law. That is not true.
Yeah,
we are not expecting nor asking local and state to enforce immigration law, which
I literally, oh my
coincidentally
gosh, you
is
already
deportation.
agreed. You actually, this is the hilarious part. You already agreed with me that part of enforcing immigration law is knowing who has violated it. That would be helping them enforce the law. And then we already went over, okay, what ways are they asking them to help enforce that law? It wasn't via deportations. It was informing of who has actually broken it. Like this is.
It was
I don't know
just,
why this is
it's
already.
simply
This is what I mean.
notification, right,
This is what I mean
Scratch?
by like. This is what I mean by straw manning. Like I never said it was.
We're
via
not straw
deportation.
manning.
Yes, it was. You automatically
No.
assumed when I said help enforce immigration law, you automatically assumed that meant state and local governments deporting people, when that wasn't what I was saying at all.
Yeah. So you suppose it's a problem to ask state and local to just notify immigration and customs enforcement? You think that's a problem?
Do you think it's a problem?
I'm asking you. You think that's a
I think like on a moral level, I think that's probably a problem. On a legal
Yeah.
level, on a
Because
legal level, they're not.
let me
really
guess. Let me
obligated to
guess.
enforce that.
Because no one's illegal on stolen land, right, Scratch?
No.
Okay. Why is it a moral problem for the state and local to notify immigration and customs enforcement when they believe they have an illegal immigrant criminal in their custody? Why is that a problem, Scratch?
I think generally illegal immigrants are helpful to the country, and I hope they stay here.
Ah.
I think they can economically, socially beneficial. Yeah.
Is that corrupt, Scratch? Is that corrupt when state and local officials agree with you and make that same determination? Well, we're not going to report it to ICE because we don't think that they should be deported because no one's illegal on stolen land. Is that corrupt?
I wouldn't call it corrupt.
Oh, shocker. Well, I suppose that's why Trump got elected, my guy. Because
great argument, bro.
The American electorate disagrees.
True. That's when we win the next election. That's what I need to do. Suppose that's why we won the election.
No, I said that's why they won. That's why he won.
You know, that's why Biden. That's why Biden won the 2020 election. Okay, because you guys were.
He certainly was inaugurated, wasn't he?
No, he won because y'all were talking about how immigrants are bad. Okay, and we were demonizing them too much. Okay.
Illegal immigrants are bad. Immigrants are fine. Illegal immigrants are bad.
You guys, as in broadly the Republican Party, which believes all immigrants are generally bad.
How is that a thing? How do we believe that all immigrants are bad?
A lot of the arguments, like when it comes to like here's a classic argument, right? Illegal immigrants are taking jobs from us. Illegal immigrants are lowering the wages. Okay. Well, one funny thing is that legal immigrants are actually more in the labor pools that Americans in, right? They're usually higher skilled. Legal Americans tend to be higher skilled, which means legal immigrants are even more predisposed to taking American jobs or lowering wages because they happen to be competing with Americans in those exact same sectors. I.e., that's why we saw when people like Vivek came out and started advocating for like more HP1 visas, we saw like a bunch of MAGA crawl the woodwork and start criticizing him, saying, "You want illegal immigrants coming to the country?" Like, yeah, I understand. Like on TikTok, the narrative is, "Oh, well, I'm only talking about illegal immigrants," but there's a huge sector of the Republican Party and MAGA as a whole who are just generally anti-immigrant.
Yeah, you started your statement by intoning illegal immigration and then finished by bringing up legal immigration. You realize that, right?
Yeah, and?
Okay.
Are you gonna address it?
Well, I mean,
you're like
what you
I don't know.
What you just did was nonsensical.
You're a little cow, bro.
No, what you
like
just
say you realized that, like you realized you started your sentence saying this and you end your sentence saying this. Yes. Okay, like does everything else I said just become invalid? Like, can you explain that to me?
Well, yeah, because your entire premise. I said the statement that I made was we don't have an issue with legal immigration. We have an issue with illegal immigration. So then you brought up an objection to illegal immigration, and then finished with a statement about legal immigration.
So, and I showed how that objection to illegal immigration also applies even more so to legal immigration, and then I brought up an example where MAGA wasn't just against illegal immigration, but also against legal immigration.
No, that's not what the objection to Vivek Ramaswamy and what he said was. His objection.
You did it like
his objection.
Vivek comes out against
No,
HB1
no,
visas, and
you gotta,
everybody got mad
you
about
gotta
that.
let
You
me,
weren't
you
there
gotta
for
let me
that.
finish, Scratch. You gotta let me finish. What Vivek Ramaswamy said was that in the cases of these tech jobs, that Americans don't do as well as some of the immigrants that they would come over on H-1B visas. So the objection to what Vivek Ramaswamy said was about what he said about
You
Americans,
know who Sam Hyde
and
is?
not about his proclivity to bring over H-1B visas.
You know what? You know who
So
Sam Hyde is?
that was a little silly
Do you know who?
for you to bring that up
Do you know who
as
Sam
an
Hyde is?
example.
Just yes or no.
I didn't hear your question. You
Do you
mumbled.
know who Sam Hyde is?
Uh, doesn't ring a bell.
No, doesn't ring a bell. So around this time, Sam Hyde came out with a video after Vivek was talking about his HB1, and literally made the exact same arguments I was making about why he thought legal immigrants are bad. So in response to Vivek,
No, I don't think legal immigration is bad.
I
I think
understand
it's
that, but there's a
important.
lot of MAGA who does though. Yeah, Musk
Yeah,
and
well, there's
Ramaswamy are sparking a debate over H-1B visas. Here's what to know about the visas. Here's Musk and Ramaswamy may be advising President-elect Donald Trump on cutting federal spending. But they're also have some advice for him about the U.S. workforce, urging his next administration to bring in more foreign tech workers. Musk and Ramaswamy reviews have sparked an online spat between factions and Trump supporters over immigration in the tech industry, whose businesses rely on H-1 visas to bring thousands of foreign engineers and other skilled workers each year from India, China, and other nations. And China and other nations. The tech industry is long. The debate has again erupted after Musk himself, once on an HB1 visa, and whose electric vehicle company Tesla has hired workers using program, defended the tech industry's need to bring in foreign workers. Me, for his part, wrote in an ex post that American culture has veteraned mediocrity over excellence, leading to a nation that does not produce the best engineers. There's a permanent shortage of excellent engineering talent. It is a fundamental limiting factor in Silicon Valley, Musk wrote. Yeah, it was specifically over letting in more HB1 visas. I even remember people getting mad at Trump saying like we need to let in more HB1 people.
No, it was a tweet. You can look up the tweet where Vivek Ramaswamy talks shit about American workers specifically.
I'm sure people
And
got
so
mad. I'm sure. I'm not saying
it wasn't.
wait. You understand? Like I'm not saying that that's not also. I'm sure people probably got mad that he said like workers in the U.S. are there's like less workers or engineers in the U.S. than there are in like India or like whatever. He
Look,
said.
Scratch,
But you understand that a
I'm not
huge
surprised that there's individual MAGA who don't like immigration. I mean,
it's not
there's
individual
folks on the
mega.
left who think that a
Vivek
man should
literally
become
part
a
of the reason
woman.
Vivek got ousted from like the Trump administration because all the shit he said about H-1 visas and people were mad at him and they
No, all the shit he said about
like
Americans,
it's
not
like I get like you guys are so politically sheltered. It's like actually insane. I literally have never met people in my life who talk about politics who have like no understanding of anybody outside their own little clique or group. Like you don't understand there's people who are more far right than you who are like broadly mega, who are in generally opposition to immigration. I remember debating this. I remember going to
no.
going on this.
No,
Absolutely.
I tell you what this is. I'll tell you what this is. You are incredulous right now because the left specifically engages in purity tests, and anyone who deviates during this purity test is excommunicated, where people on the right are allowed to have their own opinions without being removed from the party. That's why you're incredulous right now.
Can you define incredulous?
You're you're gobsmacked, you're shocked, you're absolutely, you're confused to the point of apoplexy. Yes. People on the right are
I'm
allowed
not confused. I'm making a very pointed point about hey, there's other people on the right who are broadly against immigrants. An example of this is when Vivek, Elon, and Trump all came out in support of H-1 visas. They got mad at them because they're broadly in opposition to both illegal and legal immigration, and so trying to take your own one singular opinion of well, I think legal immigrant is okay, isn't like valid because we can look and there's also a lot of MAGA who are broadly in opposition to legal migrants too. I'm not confused. I'm making it very
Here,
easy.
here we
I'm
go.
making it very
Let
easy.
me provide the context here. Vivek Ramaswamy, co-leader of the Department of Government Efficiency, has criticized the American culture for prioritizing mediocrity over excellence, suggesting that this leads tech companies to hire foreign-born engineers. He cited the 1990s TV shows like Boy Meets World and Saved by the Bell as examples of this cultural trend. His comments have sparked debate, with some agreeing on the need for cultural change, while others defend workers and culture. So understand that the issue was not that MAGA was like, why are we bringing in foreign-born HB1 visas? It was that he criticized American culture. Do you
Oh
understand,
my gosh. Like,
Scratch? So you can't point to that and say that, oh no, you don't like immigration at
okay.
all,
I
because
need
that
to.
would be inaccurate.
Okay. So, do you remember
Find a
the?
better example.
So, do you remember the clip that Trump had at was it Mar-a-Lago during the party where it says I'm in support of H-1 visas? You remember that?
I'm sure.
You remember that? Okay. People got mad at that.
What about
that okay.
it? Okay.
Like,
What
okay.
about
So
it?
you understand that the 2 points in opposition there was one, yes, we're mad at Vivek because of the cultural thing, and two, we're also mad because we don't need any more illegal immigrants coming to the country. Those were the two things people were mad at. You understand that, right?
Yes, we have a problem
Okay.
with
So,
illegal immigration, not
oh my
immigration.
gosh, like, okay,
They're
wait,
different.
okay, just real quick. Do you know who wait, do you know who Milo Yiannopoulos is?
Of course.
You do?
One of my favorite gay men. He is
You
hilarious.
understand he's broadly in opposition and he's on the right to legal
Yeah,
immigration.
again, dissent. Listen,
Do you know who
agreement is not
Stefan?
required
Do you
on the
know who
right,
Stefan Molyneux is?
Scratch.
Do you know who
It is
Stefan Molyneux?
not required.
Do you know who Stefan Molyneux is?
George Stephanopoulos?
No, Stefan Molyneux.
Stephen Mullen.
Molyneux.
Stephen Molyneux.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
No,
familiar with that
also on
individual.
the right, probably. Do you know who Rob Noor is?
Rob Noor?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Also, one of the biggest right-wing debaters, also in opposition to legal immigration. Do you know who Andrew Wilson is?
Of course.
Okay. He's also if you really debates, he's also in opposition to legal immigration. Like, I swear, like, if you go down the line, all these right-wing influencers broadly in opposition to legal immigration, they were also mad about legal immigration. I understand, and I've seen this, and this is fine. Different political spaces are sheltered to different beliefs. If you go into a right-wing space, more like on the Twitch Discord space, you're going to hear more broad opposition to immigration. If you come into TikTok, you're going to hear mostly, specifically, people who are against illegal immigration. So
Andrew Wilson is known for his opposition of open borders and unrestricted immigration. He has debated libertarian perspectives on immigration, arguing against open borders and advocating for stricter immigration controls. So again, he is not. Yeah, but
oh my God! Please, wait. Have you listened to any? Wait, just real quick. Have you listened to any?
You just
of his,
lied again. You're
have you listened to any?
immigration.
Have you listened to any of his debates on immigration? Just yes or no.
Yeah, I have. I
Okay.
saw him on what is it? What was the roundtable one where there's a bunch of people? Really, Jubilee. I saw him argue on Jubilee. I saw him argue against Destiny. Yeah, I've seen it, and that's why.
You understand?
That's why I looked it up real quick. He's not
Yes,
against
when he says
immigration.
he's against unrestricted immigration, you understand he wants to lessen the amount of legal immigrants. That's his argument. It's literally said in the thing you read.
No, Scratch. You are no.
Yes,
This is
listen,
incorrect.
please. I
This
implore
is
you.
just
Please,
another-
I actually implore you to listen to anything. Okay.
Oh, I'll look again. I'll tell you what. I'll look on a different site with different search criteria to see if I can find anything that says Andrew Wilson is against illegal immigration, because he's not. He's just like the right, the rest of the right. And this is one of the problems the left has, is because they attribute things that we don't support to us because they heard some random Alabama denizen say something stupid on a fucking TikTok one time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, because Cletus from Mobile said that he's against illegal immigration, now all of MAGA is against legal immigration. It's hilarious. Like I don't give you shit, Scratch, for people in your party that say that men can be women if they want to. That's not how
Well,
it works.
the funny thing is, I acknowledge that there's people on the left who do things like are anti-Semitic. I acknowledge the fact that people on the left who support who support the CCP, who even support Russia. I can acknowledge that those people exist. right? Are they Democrats? No, but I acknowledge people exist. The problem is you guys have like a fundamental, like whenever you guys have like a fundamental problem when there's people who like are outside of like any kind of box. Andrew Wilson's way more far right than probably any of your beliefs are, and it's like, hey, this guy like broadly against immigration and broadly against when he said unrestricted immigration, like he's broadly against more immigrants coming to the country, and you just like don't care.
All right. Do you prefer the whatever podcast, or can we use Andrew Wilson's actual site?
On this,
Because right here, this got 87,000 views. It was from 4 months ago.
Yeah, I offered
Andrew.
I
This
know
is on
Big
whatever.
Fascist does a lot of immigration, but I offered immigration or healthcare. But
I'll
Big
pull a
Papa
clip. Hold
Fascist
on.
frankly, he said, Boy, I'm far too scared to debate you on healthcare. And so we decided to go with immigration instead. And of course, I obliged because this is his platform.
Oh my gosh, please.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I offered, and I know Big Papa Fascist does a lot of immigration, but I offered immigration or healthcare. But Big Papa Fascist frankly, he said, Boy, I'm
By
far
the
too
way,
scared
he
to debate you
literally
on
called
healthcare.
himself
And
Big
so
Papa
we decided to go
Fascist
with
back in the
immigration
day.
instead. And of course, I obliged because this is his platform.
Oh, you got a clip? Go ahead.
We'll go with that. Andrew's fine, by the way.
All right, notice how this
Anyway.
debate is over immigration and not over illegal immigration.
If you have issues with the way that I view immigration, you want to go ahead and open? Let me know what your issues are, maybe what your standpoint is on it.
Do you have something you're gonna
Yeah,
play?
sure. So, essentially,
Or you
my
just
view is that
have 'em in the
immigration
background?
is really good for the economy broadly. Of course, there are nuances in that statement. I think
For
that
illegal
the Cato
immigration.
Institute, for instance, I think it's cited a lot when it comes to immigration and their sort of analysis under an economic statement. Immigration is really good for the economy. Yeah, sure. So, essentially, my view is that immigration is
Do you see how he says immigration and how he doesn't specify illegal or legal?
really good for the economy broadly. Of course, there are nuances in that statement. I think that the Cato Institute, for instance, I think it's cited a lot when it comes to immigration and their sort of analysis under an economic framework, just to have essentially totally open borders. And the argument is that the market sorts people better than the government can. And I think to a certain extent, that argument has some merit, but I think there would be sort of systemic problems with totally open borders. But I think that with a controlled and efficient immigration scheme, you can essentially capture the gains of immigration and mitigate any sort of localized losses. And broadly, I think immigration.
Brendan, do you acknowledge the fact that Econoboy right now is talking about immigration broadly and he's not talking about specifically illegal or legal immigration?
Yeah, I can hear. Go ahead.
Okay, so I hope we can. Oh, why did that miss me?
Grows larger, everyone's wealthier, everyone sort of has a increase in sort of standard of living and material condition. The two components of long-term economic growth, or the three components are.
You cut out there, man.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, just to finish up, I was going to say that the three components of long-term.
Yeah, three components. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the three components of long-term economic growth are technology to sort of expand the boundaries of your economy, capital, of course, the machines and tools we might use to do our work, and of course us, the labor. In a world with decreasing fertility rates, people having less children, it's really important for developed economies to have not necessarily loose, but have schemes and organizations that are open to immigration and allowing them in under permanent residency and citizenship.
Okay, gotcha. So let me ask you a couple of questions first. It sounds like from your standpoint, immigration has more to do with economics than it does with anything else.
I think that you can certainly have a moral. I think I'm echoing a little bit, but you can certainly have a little bit. You can certainly have a moral argument for immigration too. Obviously, when someone's fleeing a war-torn or sort of poverty-stricken area to go to a wealthier, more stable country, certainly there's a
Just
moral
saying that's
argument.
primary, like your primary motivation behind having mass migration is economic.
Sure, but it depends on how you define mass migration. But I think generally, yes, immigration is.
Well, wouldn't you consider 1 million people per year to be mass migration?
I wouldn't consider an absolute number ever to necessarily be mass migration. It depends on how your society is able to assimilate these people and sort of the strains that a certain amount of immigration might have on a society. Like 1 million immigrants a year doesn't appear to have put unsustainable strain on American institutions and society. And so it seems like that
What are you
isn't.
talking about? Of course it has. This
Well,
is all very, by the way, this is all very vague, right? So if I go, what's the number for mass migration? Well, it's like it's all very vague, man. So
Well,
first, let's get our terms right. What is mass migration to you?
So mass migration to me is relative to the population. So for instance, if like 100,000 people in a single room, that would be like a massive amount of people. But 100,000 people immigrating to, say, the United States, that's not exactly like a crazy amount of people. There's 330 million people in the country, and it seems
But there
like
was only 250 million in 1990.
Right, exactly. I mean, but that kind
mass
of proves my
migration
point.
has added a massive portion to the population demographic. But how would you not consider, or what would you consider in 300 million people? What is mass migration?
Okay, so can we acknowledge right now that Andrew Wilson is taking just a broad stance against immigration in general? He's not specifying legal or illegal, Brendan. It's because he has a broad opposition to immigration. Brendan, you there, buddy?
One sec, Scratch. If you still want us to do it,
Order one from?
well, yeah, we can. That's what your total would be.
Is he at work and debating me?
No, I'm not at work. Stand by.
Fine. That's probably good. I don't even know why. Get a job, kid. Get the fuck up here, hamster.
All right. Sorry about that. No, I'm not at work. I'm a master tradesman. I pretty much work from my phone.
You understand, like, in that clip or in that part of the debate we watched, it was saying, like,
Ye-
Andrew wasn't taking a broad stance against immigration, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, with what I watched, Andrew Wilson does not have an issue with immigration. He has an issue with what the Democrats were doing with regards to unfettered immigration, specifically echoing what Trump is saying about
No.
facilitating an invasion of this country.
No, he was taking. So if you remember in that debate, he was talking since like 1930 or something. Population or I forgot his date. When it passed, population increased this much. He was taking a broad stance against immigration over the past couple decades, not specifically with the Democrats.
Well, if you watch closely to what the immigration rates were to the 30s, to the 50s, to the 70s, I think the 70s and 80s we were at something like 500,000 a year was the cap. And then after
and
that,
he was calling all of that over that entire time mass immigration. He was taking a broad stance against it.
Well, yeah, most countries don't take anywhere near the type of numbers that we take.
Cool.
Scratch.
So I hope we agreed that he was taking a stance not just against illegal immigration but also against legal immigration. Okay, I'm glad we established that.
No, that's not
Yes.
accurate at all.
Ma-
Oh, do you suppose
yes.
that if you,
When you when you come out in
suppose
wait,
that if
when
you
when you oppose certain levels of migration, are you also in that instance also
that's not what he's opposing. He's opposing, rather than legislate the amount of immigration the country has, the Democrats being on brand with their complete lack of consent on the part of the governed, just decide not to enforce. And I couldn't help but
the
notice
Democrats were never mentioned in that entire
just-
convo.
I'm aware of that. What I'm speaking to is their general platform. Scratch.
No, the Democrats were never mentioned in that entire convo. Why are you talking about their general platform? We're talking about Andrew Wilson's beliefs, and he took a broad opposition, especially when he said things like, "Oh, over this certain period of time." I think it was like from the 1930s or 70s, we've seen this much of a population increase, and he called that mass immigration, which was in general opposition to immigration over legal and illegal over that entire time period, and not just illegal immigration. And all the immigration has not just happened under Democrats, but under both
In
parties.
addition to the illegal immigration, you also have, again, those policies being loosened and immigration law not being enforced.
That's not what he was taking opposition to. He never said anything about that. You're literally just adding positions that he wasn't saying during the debate.
These are commonly held positions.
It's not the position he was espousing during the debate. He was taking a broad stance to immigration in the debate, which includes legal and illegal immigrants.
He was taking a broad stance against the lack of enforcement with regard to
he never said
immigration.
anything about enforcement.
Which is
during
the
that entire
problem
clip.
that most
During that
Americans.
entire clip, he never said anything about enforcement. The literal name of that thing is Andrew Wilson, is immigration a blessing or a curse to America? There's nothing about like Democrats, nothing about enforcement of laws. It's literally saying, is immigration a good thing or a bad thing to America? That's literally the prompt of the entire debate. And Andrew Wilson is taking the opposing side. Like, this is exactly what I mean by fucking politically sheltered. Like, you just think everybody has your same fucking beliefs. They don't. There's a huge section of the right, a huge section of MAGA, who are broadly in opposition to not just illegal immigration, but also legal immigration. I don't get why this is such a hard thing to concede.
possible. I don't
What
think
year
that'll
was
ever be
that
possible.
particular offering there, Scratch? When was that?
I
That was
think
8 months ago.
I think that depends to kids like in the DACA.
What I'm looking at is
understand
from
it's
4
their
months ago.
parents.
And going through this, I cannot find a single bit of information that suggests Andrew Wilson is against legal immigration.
Yeah, that's
His
because
objections that I've collected so far are wholly against illegal immigration, which is a common trope for you guys to trot out.
so
It helps you
so
paint
the
us.
problem so the
It
problem
helps you paint us as racist. It's
so
not
the
going to
problem
work.
here is that Andrew Wilson is broadly against immigration, and then because it's like election time and people and Democrats generally are okay with illegal immigration, or not okay, but are more supportive of illegal immigrants. He's also taking opposition to that. That's still consistent with his beliefs of generally being overall against immigration. Just because that's a debate specifically on illegal immigration doesn't mean his broad opposition to immigration as a whole isn't true. It's so I don't get like why are you so politically sheltered? Like, what's so hard of admitting that a lot of MAGA just doesn't like legal immigration?
What do you want? Jesus H. Christ.
No, what's up?
So yeah, we can do this. The issue is with immigration. The issue is with the legal immigration, Scratch. No matter how much you cry and complain
You're
and
actually
whine,
like, okay.
bring up clips out
No
of
matter
context.
how much Andrew
that is
Wilson,
not
no matter
true.
how much Rob Noor, no matter how much Milo Yiannopoulos, no matter how much any of these big right-wing influencers cry, you're still gonna say that all MAGA believes in your specific set of beliefs around immigration.
Never said
nobody,
that.
And nobody has and there's no section of
Never said that. As a matter of fact, what I mentioned was that individuals on the right are allowed to deviate from the narrative without being excommunicated. That's your party that's not allowed to comply.
Oh, okay. So you do admit finally that a lot of MAGA on the right is in broad opposition to legal immigration too.
Weren't you complaining about a straw man just like 10 minutes ago? Just saying.
It's literally just what you said.
Yeah. Listen, Trump is enforcing immigration law. He's even protecting the border. You're welcome.
Then why did he break the law?
What's that, Frenchie?
Why did he break the law to deport people?
I don't. Why did? Oh, break the law. Why did he break the law to deport people? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. What law did he break? And then after you answer that, could you please explain to me why the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement should not be allowed to enforce immigration and customs? Go ahead.
All right. First of all, I never said that ICE doesn't have the right to enforce these laws. I'm saying that Trump broke the 5th and 14th Amendment for the deportations to El Salvador. They didn't have the right to notice, nor the right to file an habeas claim, which is protected by the Constitution.
All right. So let's say you work at the State Department and someone you have in custody you would like to deport, say back to Venezuela. You contact Venezuela and they don't want him because he's a scumbag criminal. He's probably, a card-carrying Democrat, but they don't want him back. So what do you do then? Where do you send him?
How about you engage with what I've just said? Like, don't deflect. Talk about what Trump did.
Deflecting. What you're saying is something similar to he want to deport him, and because he cannot, he's deporting him to other countries, and that is against the 14th Amendment. So the reason he's deporting him to a place like El Salvador is because their original country won't take them back. You're trying to attribute some type of fascistic tendencies to Trump attempting to keep the American people safe and deport illegal alien invader criminals out of the country. And now you're upset that their country won't take them back.
That's really, it's not what I've said at all. Okay, again, I mentioned the right to notice and the right to file an habeas claim. I never said that the deportations to other countries were illegal. It's the constitutional rights that were not followed. So how about you?
Here we go. All right, yeah, that is a different issue. There's a difference between Article 2 courts and Article 3 courts. Specifically, criminal law is handled by Article 3 courts. This is where you have the type of due process that you have in criminal proceedings, while Article 2 courts, which are immigration courts, are not the same. So for you to conflate the rules and the laws and the due process that an individual gets under an Article 3 court with an Article 2 court is nonsense. But please continue. But please continue to conflate those two because we have midterms coming up, and I like winning.
Yeah, Trump is. By the way, Trump is in the negative for approval rating on immigration. And second of all,
Wait. Can we, Brendan? Can you like engage with what he said? Like your response was like
I
completely
did.
herring.
No, it was not. I told them that there's a huge difference between Article 2 and Article 3 courts, but you guys on the left tend to forget that.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
You acknowledge that you get due process rights in Article 2 courts too, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the process is different in Article 2 versus
Yeah, the
Article
process
3.
is different, but
And
the
you guys
process
want to
that you-
conflate the two.
Brennan,
You
you're
want to
being
take the
like actual
position
sub-zero
that the
IQ.
same
I can't tell if you're
process-
dishonest or just so fucking stupid.
No, what you're saying
Brennan,
is that the same
Brennan,
process that individuals get with
No,
immigration
no one ever
courts
made that claim.
are the same
claim
process
was
that
that you
he
have
just said
process.
habeas corpus.
Brennan, shut the fuck up. You have no
Oh,
idea what
there
you're
we
talking
go.
about.
okay, Brandon.
Brennan,
Wait,
this
wait,
is
wait.
how the left
please,
does.
shut the fuck up. Everybody shut the fuck up. Okay.
It's my
The
argument.
process that you
Tell
have
me to
under
shut the
Article
fuck
2,
up
the
one
process
more
that you
time.
have, the process that you have
One more
under
time.
Article 2, the process that you have under Article
what I
2
thought.
courts were not upheld. That's the claim. It's not that it's the same as Article 3 courts. It's that the process that you have under Article 2 was not held up. I don't know if you're stupid or if you're being dishonest. I can't tell.
Oh, well,
Hey, Brandon.
here we go. Here we go. Let me help you, leftist. Let me help you. Just to illustrate that Article 2 courts and Article 3 courts are different.
You won't
Does a
engage.
person-
Who the fuck
shut
is
the
saying
fuck
that
up,
they're
Frenchie.
not?
Does an individual that is trying to immigrate to this country and engaging with the Article 2 courts, do they have a right to an attorney in those proceedings?
Oh my
Oh my
fucking
God.
god, Brandon.
Brennan.
What?
You're
Okay,
actually
wait.
Tell me what
Holy
two
shit.
plus
wait,
two
wait,
is.
wait, it's
Do
my
they have a
argument.
right to an attorney
Holy
or
shit.
not?
Brandon,
irrelevant.
Brandon.
It
Tell
is
me.
not irrelevant because
Brandon,
if you're
please,
engaging
please,
with
Brandon,
Article
please.
3
Do you have the right to file
you have the
habeas?
right to an attorney, don't you?
Do you
I
have
have
the
the
right to
We're
file
talking about
habeas?
criminal
One more
proceedings.
sta-
Do you
We're
have the right
talking
to
about
file
immigration
habeas?
proceedings,
Brennan,
aren't
Brennan,
we?
do you have the right to file?
I
Do you
can
have the
speak
right to
up.
file
There
habeas?
we go.
Do you have
There
the
we
right to
go.
file habeas?
Thanks for playing, guys.
Do you
No,
have the
not
right to file
always.
habeas?
No,
Brennan,
you
do
do
have the
not
right
always
to
get
file
the right to
habeas?
file for habeas. There are
You
all
don't
kinds
have
of
the right
issues.
to file for
And
habeas, so was SCOTUS
absolutely
wrong?
no, you do not.
Was SCOTUS wrong when they
You do
ruled
not
that?
always get the right to habeas corpus when it comes to Article 2 proceedings, specifically with regards to immigration. The State Department, if they deem you a threat,
Brennan.
they can eject you without seeing a judge, and you should
Brennan,
fucking
you're
know that.
contradicting JGG versus Donald Trump. That's a Supreme Court decision, you fucking idiot.
From this
They already
year.
decided this
It's from this year, by the way.
This
Wait,
year.
Brandon,
against
Brandon,
Trump.
please, Brandon, tell me what was my position. Like, I just want to know what argument did I make so far. Like, he's not even engaging with what I've said. Brandon, tell me what was my argument.
No, you're done crashing.
It's the goal of MAGA to act like they know fucking anything when they don't know how to do 2 plus 2. Like, I feel like if I don't understand how the fuck you
problem
can
with
even
the
like drive
left
yourself
is
to
that they
work
always
without.
just think
I don't know how
that
you
stuff
can
that
put
they
your
say
pants
is
on without a
true,
caretaker.
when it's
You just act like you know
not.
everything, but you actually know fucking nothing, and it's disgusting because you're corrupting our country by doing it. It's gross. You're like an actual disgusting person.
I just want to know why did
Yes,
G.B.
that's
Trump
what you
at the
want,
Supreme Court
huh?
say that they have the right to file an habeas
Because
claim?
America is aligned with your school of thought, right?
Yeah, keep backing the
Right.
fucking person who's a co-defendant with
Right.
Epstein. You fucking idiot. Keep
Right.
backing that
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
That really
Yeah.
gives you the
Yeah,
moral
and if he had
authority.
anything to do with Epstein, you wouldn't have deployed that
He was
instead
the
of
co-defendant.
corn
The
stars and
co-defendant.
documents.
What does that
right?
mean? Co-defendant. What does that mean?
Also, why did you... Brenda said that you don't have the right to file an habeas claim because
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
have
as
the
a
right
matter
to
of
see a judge.
fact.
Wait. Do you think that
December
an habeas claim
31st?
is when you see a judge?
December 31st, 2011, the American Civil Liberties Union wrote an article, an op-ed about the fact that less than 25% of the individuals that Barack Obama deported saw an immigration judge. So yes, this is standard operating procedure that you left before just bringing up now because it's politically convenient.
Oh my fuck! Okay, wait. 2 points.
Brendan,
2 points.
do you understand that like you can get your due process without seeing a judge?
Yeah,
that's-
filing an habeas claim is not
that-
seeing a judge.
is
You
that
can
the
file a
Article
claim.
2 courts have the ability to render a type
Jesus
of due
Christ.
process.
Oh
my God.
Well,
Actually,
the
like,
problem is that you guys are focusing too much on the word process and not the word due.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay.
Oh my god.
Disgusting.
I
Disgusting.
actually
They don't
like,
even
wait,
know what
Miguel,
to-
did you hear my argument with him previously? Like, were you listening?
No. No, I didn't.
Oh my god.
I did. I was at work, like I punched my drywall, and the funny part is like I can do it because I do it for a living. So
I'm trying to think.
there's a lot of holes.
Actually, like he cannot stop pivoting, like at all. I don't think I've ever met somebody who like does like so many strawmans, like red herrings and pivots.
How long did you talk to that guy?
Yeah, most of the
1
lines-
hour.
Almost not.
Okay, that was about 50 minutes too long.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's any good content even.
It's garbage content. Like it didn't engage with anything. Like Andrew Wilson was taking the position that it's a curse. Immigration is a curse. And he was, oh no, he's
literally.
just talking about illegal. He likes legal immigration. What the fuck?
The reason that Andrew Wilson is against immigration is changing demographics. Why the fuck would that change if they're legal?
I told him that he couldn't understand. I even brought up a debate. It's like, hey, so he's like obviously taking a broad opposition here. It's like, no, he's not. Then he just pivoted back to like the one whatever podcast debate. It's like, of course he's gonna be like in opposition to illegal immigration too. Like, no shit.
It's oh fuck. What's up, Renial?
Not you too, I guess.
Just, I'm sick. All right.
Why did you put Renial? Why did you put after your debate against the all the racists my team song?
Because it said fuck and it was silly. I was like, yeah, what was his name? Alan, whatever. I was like, you can't say that, fuck. And it made me think of the I'm not even
French.
Yeah.
Why is he still in that chat? Jesus Christ.
That's the kind of
Monday-
person that you can call subhuman, by the way, Scratch.
They all are subhuman. And true, Scratch, you and Cringy really need a better timing when you call people subhuman.
Yeah.
He didn't win at
That's
any
the
point,
that's the
yeah.
kind of person that actually is subhuman.
He didn't win at any point. So I don't really.
Oh wait, look at the chat. How do you feel about the French first lady being a man? I'm not even French. Fuck.
Holy
That
shit.
sounded
by the way-
that sounded so similar.
That did.
No.
That actually did.
The funny part is it's the same question. By the way, the other guy that the original clip comes from was
Oh yeah,
telling the same thing.
I saw the
If-
debate.
You saw the race war video.
Yeah.
W.
I don't know why. Does
Okay.
Lucas upload anything to YouTube?
No. Well, like, I don't. Actually, I think he uploaded like one thing maybe.
If there was anything to upload to YouTube, it's that.
That was funny.
Nah, it was
I'm
way
gonna
too.
cut this
It
down.
was.
I'm gonna. The only part of this debate I'm probably gonna post is like the air counts part. I'm not gonna post anything else. It's all brain rot.
I don't think the video will pass the TOS because I was straight up screaming at the Portuguese. You are brown. You're brown.
No, it'd be fine. It'd be fine.
I mean, if the scratch clip of essay is based past, I mean,
I immediately retracted that statement afterwards. Okay, and also the people say essay for a reason because the algorithm doesn't know what you mean when you say it.
yeah, but there, when you like 2 weeks ago when you debated Alison about that, like your defense on our stream, Jesus Christ, you could defend yourself so much better. Like, just say it was sarcasm because the guy said, do we all agree that essay is bad? Like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, the joke is the absurdity that you would say yes.
I pointed that out.
obviously.
I explained.
No, you didn't point
Yes, I
that out.
did. No,
fuck.
I did. I did. I literally.
No!
No, I did. I did.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I literally said, like, everybody understood it was a joke, Allison. Like, Rinald even said, like, 5 seconds later that.
No,
that it was a
why?
joke, and
Why?
it was absurd.
No,
I
you
said
said
like
it's
3
a
times.
joke. Don't say it's a fucking joke.
It's
Say
obviously
it
a
was
joke.
sarcasm because the question was done.
Sarcasm,
Yes.
Just say it.
sarcastic jokes exist, dumbass. Of course.
Whenever
Yeah, but when you said joke, it's like you think the punchline is, oh yeah, essay is so base. No, just say it's sarcasm
No.
because the question was a joke.
Scratch, whenever you tell a joke and somebody criticizes you for the joke, you have to tell what the intention of the joke was.
I did.
Yeah,
I literally did. I said, one, the intention of the joke is that everybody's painting me as a misogynist, and I was just playing into that. That when I'm obviously
No,
not.
that's not
That was okay. Yep.
That makes you look so bad, Scratch.
Yeah, you need to work on your
Just say
delivery.
that-
Like, the message is fine. You just suck in terms of rhetoric sometimes. Sometimes, like, I punch myself in the balls to just stop my earring.
The joke
Okay,
is how
it's-
absurd it would be for somebody to say essay is good. That's the joke. Just say that.
I did say that like 3 times, but Annoying wasn't listening. So.
I didn't watch, but I'm just going based off of what Annoying says. Is saying.
I literally actually I explained I went off of the fact that you literally had to tell somebody that in the live after I said the joke. You know, I could have also just said, you know, a fact I said obviously it's not less than a second later.
All right, well, I'm sick. I gotta go. I love you.
Okay. You do, dude. So much. Oh my gosh. Curious. What's up, man?
I've been listening this whole time, bro. You know what you need, Scratch?
What?
You need to start screen recording as you're live, so when people say that they didn't say something, you could just go back on
I
the
do.
recording.
It's on YouTube. I could go back and play it, but I don't give a fuck. I don't give like Brendan's so much. Brendan's so slimy that he's just gonna like lie anyways. Doesn't matter.
He's gonna snake around.
Yeah, he did. He did an entire combo. Like he
You know,
like,
I really
like,
do.
He'll like say something in a he'll like make like say something like a pointed paragraph. I'll like summarize it in like a sentence, and then he'll say that's not what I said because he doesn't like the fact that he had to admit that he was wrong on a specific subject.
I mean, honestly, bro, the way this country's going, bro. Like, dude, it's kind of like I love flat Earth, bro. I'll say that I love flat Earth. I don't believe in it, but I love the flat Earth theory just because it's like motherfuckers created an entire science around something that's not real. But now we're at the point where motherfuckers are creating entire new definitions of law that I'm just like mysticized. Like, how do you interpret the Constitution in a way that is so different than the rest of what most people know? And it's just like fascinating the rigmarole that people go through. Like I don't. It does like it's like being super smart in the worst way possible. I don't understand. I just don't know.
Well, the Brendan's only tactic is to just like lie, deflect, or like not like the I don't know if Annoying was there for the Eric Adams shit. When like he just like
Yeah,
he doesn't.
I heard the whole thing.
Oh, you heard like he just couldn't admit like this is pretty obviously corrupt actions. He's like, well, I agree with the action, so therefore the means to get there wasn't corrupt. It's like okay.
I really wanted you to just flip it on him and be like, okay, so let's say we have a Democratic president and a Republican gets indicted with fraud.
I did. He didn't. I did. He didn't admit it. He said
And that doesn't work?
No, he said it was an absurd analogy. That's all he's gonna do.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was telling John the other day. People have been like, it's like when you put all your coins on the table and you refuse to lose because then that's your life savings. Like, imagine if he does get indicted and all the shit comes out that he was on the Epstein file. Imagine all the times that they denied E. Jean Carroll, or all the times they made excuses for the court, like all this stuff. Then that all that shit becomes validated, and then it just becomes that they're pedo protectors, and that's like not a good look. So it's like they rather just stake all their chips on this guy and now make it their whole personality because if he goes down, they morally go down with him.
Yeah, I agree there.
That's why he's trying to actively like do the whole is it Ohio? No, it's Utah, the whole Utah school system where now they have like a whole thing where you have to you have to pass a test that was created by PragerU in order to teach in that state. Did you hear about that?
I've not heard about that.
I'm confused. Trump made a federal law to dictate that the state of Utah would have to do something in order for this state school system to have teachers participate in teaching. I don't recall any congressional vote on this. I don't know how federally Trump is making any
No, it's not
state
a
do
federal
any kind
thing.
of education reform.
It's not a federal thing. I mean, all he's doing is just defunding the Department of Education on a federal level.
Cornerstone, new
But
acquisition. Corner, you there, man?
Were you talking to me?
Yeah. You Trump supporter?
I voted for him. I wouldn't. When I say I support a candidate, I support him. You know what I mean? Like I voted for him because I didn't want the alternative. That's not really a supportive vote. That's more like I had a dude that was sick and couldn't talk, or I had Kamala Harris with very little history to go off of that was glamorous, or any kind of accomplishments that I could jump up and down and go, wow, this is going to be a great president. So I ended up choosing at least what I could count on.
So she wasn't.
Wait, so you saw Harris and then you saw Trump with his horrible history on his first term, and you went, "Oh yeah, that's my guy."
True.
Can you say that again? I didn't understand. Can you slow it down and say that again?
Former attorney, Attorney General of California, Senator.
She put more men in prison for weed crimes, so that when they were going to get let out on parole, she denied their parole through the DA so she could get cheap labor to fight fires. That's going to be a good president? That sounds real bad.
Can you just prove that claim real quick?
Can I what?
Can you just bring up evidence that happened?
Can you bring up any kind of stuff without your computer to validate whatever you just said about all of her stuff? When did she go to school? When did she graduate? Can you do that without your computer? Give me any of that data? Because you're asking me to be a computer right now.
I'll look it up. Do you want me to go through?
No, without your computer, because I can't look it up. I'm not looking it up right now.
No, buddy, you made a statement, so you must have a source.
So I'll give you 30 minutes. You can go find all your sources. Go ahead. You can geek up. Go ahead. There you go.
So then the idea of this is I bring up sources, you then attack the source, which then invalidates my ability to argue. Is that the way we're going down this street? I've done a lot of these TikTok debates, and I only debate when somebody's actually willing to debate.
Of course, if I bring up a CNN source, it's a CNN fucking source that said Donald Trump has unalived 200 million children. Yeah, I'm sure you probably say that's probably not a good source to bring up. Trying to prove that point, right?
Well, if it was CNN, it has to have at least some part of truth, right, for them to report it.
Good.
So if you brought up a CNN source that said Trump did this thing, then I would have to then validate whether or not the person that wrote the article was actually biased and whether or not the event actually took place, which you're asking for more than 30 minutes of research, and you know that. You know that's more than 30 minutes of research to validate sources.
No, it's one
Like,
case.
how deep do
You
we
just have to
wanna
prove
go
one
with
case.
Yeah.
All right, wait. Let's assume that Harris did put innocent people.
Something happening? Annoying, stop talking. Scratch, you are really quiet. Crank up the volume by 3%. Okay, why did Noah tell me that I wasn't quiet then? Like, must be people's fucking phone speakers. It can't be me. No, she was the district attorney for San Francisco in 2003 and attorney general.
Oh, by the way, Scratch, it's like a double audio on your side. So it's like, I don't know if you have two mics on, but it just sounds like I could hear you clearly. It just sounds like it
should be fixed.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Perfect.
Cringy if he figured out what a woman is. For real. Maybe Cringy could figure out what a woman is. Got absolutely cooked by Edna.
Well, John, if you
Dude,
want to,
Tulsi Gabbard doesn't know what a woman is?
John, if you want to debate me, go ahead.
Tulsi Gabbard's the hottest person there, bro, and she has
She's
the
one
least
of the
work
most
done.
honest.
You know, I want to know about honest.
I feel like she really wants to help. I feel like she really wants to help. Like, I don't know what she's doing, what she's been told, who's pulling her purse strings, but I do know that when she speaks, it feels like she really does give a shit.
Well, I don't know. With her, I think her background is kind of sketchy, so that's all
Tulsi
I would
Gabbard?
say. Yeah, you know
Wasn't
she.
she in the Marine Corps? It was the Marine Corps, right?
Have you ever looked into her back, like how she was raised? You know she grew up in a cult, right?
You do know that no one is raised correctly. Like, it's very rare to find a nice, wholesome, perfect family, children that are being raised to the book, by the letter, without any
Yeah, no,
trauma.
no.
You know
But
that everybody experiences trauma.
she literally was raised in a cult
No big deal.
where
There's lots of
where
people that come out of a cult just fine and are just fine, well-speaking
but she
people. I've
never
met them.
left the cult. Like, I don't, you know that, right?
What are you talking about? She never left the cult. What cult are you speaking of?
The cult that she literally was raised in that never left. She thinks that some guys are Jesus Christ Savior. You know that, right?
I don't really
Cornerstone,
care
how's
what
that
she
source?
believes.
How was that
Why would
source?
why would I care of her?
Cornerstone, how's that source
research?
coming along?
I already had it up. I was starting to talk about it and it got derailed.
Hey, Cringy, could you show us what cult fucking our director of fucking intelligence the United States belongs to? Because I think a lot of people don't really know that.
What?
That
cult?
Tulsi Gabbard, she grew up in a cult.
Really?
Would that affect her ability to do her job?
Yes.
How so?
100%.
How so? If she believes some guys are Jesus, like you stated, was their biggest, scariest thing about her cult, how would that affect her job as national security to keep us safe?
So do you? I mean, bro, the answer answers itself.
Would that affect your ability to protect us from terrorists around the world? Because you believed in something? Because you had a deep-seated belief in something? You think that would affect your ability to protect me from a terrorist attack?
The argument would probably
I think you're doing great.
The argument would probably be like cults. A lot of times there's like abuse, either like physical and mental trauma, and that oftentimes can like impair decision making in the future if you're still having to like work through that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and cite some of the psychological journals to explain to you how many of Gen Alpha, Gen Z, and millennials have that same psychiatric trauma from home, coming from broken homes, broken families. We're gonna have these people in White House eventually. All congressmen are going to be filled in with Gen Z, Alpha, millennials,
So
and a lot of us have a big problem.
right?
So why don't we figure that part out? Why ain't
And the
anybody talking
boomers,
about school systems and how to revamp
the stable
system?
boomers, the stable, well-raised boomers? True.
I didn't say that they were stable and well raised. I'm just saying this guy's bringing up how a cult is going to affect their ability to do things. And I'm going to say this: everybody's a little messed up. I haven't met anybody who had everything 100% sound for that.
Do you know anything about Scientology?
Yes, I know about Scientology a little bit.
What are your thoughts on Scientology? Because I'm sure you know at least the surface level bullshit they spew, right?
I think my personal thoughts on Scientology is that people took some crap from L. Ron Hubbard, created a way to suck money out of elites and out of certain other people and launder money. I feel like it's a laundering organization. Like they know that the crap they say is not true.
But they're sketchy,
they know
right?
it's not true. Oh,
but it's like sketchy, right?
Super sketch.
Right. So Tulsi Gabbard belongs to basically like somewhat of a subset of Scientology. It's called SIF, SIF, stands for Scientific Institute Foundation or some shit like that. And it's an offspring of Hare Krishna Hinduism, and it's based off this guy named Chris Butler. And this guy basically, like, from people who have escaped this cult-like thing, they describe it as, you know, obviously you give your wife to the cult member, all this shit. That guy literally groomed Tulsi Gabbard to become part of the military, and then also financed her uprising into becoming a senator. So for her to then become part of the CIA intelligence community, like, is kind of weird and a little bit like how is an administration like that is supposed to be the most competent and only hiring people who are like qualified? Why would they not like especially the CIA? Why would they not vet a former cult member before they like say like, hey, you think this is a good idea to put a former cult member or a present cult member, because she never officially cut ties
Because
with her community,
they're
to be
all
in like
members of various organizations that are similar, and that's how they all get in power. Like, it's not weird. It's exactly the way that the country's been ran since Jack Parsons. You know who Jack Parsons is, right? Basically, the guy that invented fucking NASA. He's where we get JPL Labs from, Jet Propulsion Laboratories. That guy was a massive supporter of Aleister Crowley. This guy was not only CIA and FBI, he basically helped organize the CIA and FBI into what they would be later. You're talking about, like, this stuff goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, that they've been doing this very same thing. The very same thing. So it's not weird. It's exactly what it is.
I'm not aware of any person sitting in the highest department of our country's intelligence community being part of a cult. Never have I heard of that.
It's been going on forever. You need to do more historical research.
Yeah, but is that a
There's been
conspiracy theory? Okay,
plenty of them. This was all known. This is not conspiracy. This is documented shit. That Jack
Like who?
Parsons hung out with Aleister Crowley, did seances, and would later on lay the groundwork that would become NASA. That's all well known, well documented.
Wait.
stuff.
Do you think the Earth is flat?
No, gosh, no. Why would I believe that?
Okay, it's like a litmus test, because if you tell me it's flat, then I have a better understanding.
To imagine that there's some ice wall and another civilization on the other side. I'd love it to be true, but I don't think it's true at all.
And the shit that I like right here, Donald Trump is doing God's work for American citizens. Like, fuck God, dude. What the fuck?
It's not for God, and it's not God's work, and that's designed to inflame you. That is a literal article designed to make you feel the way you just felt. You have to take that shit and just throw it away. And it's like,
I've seen like grown men on the right call Donald Trump their daddy. You don't find that a little concerning?
There's cult-like activity on both sides of this aisle.
I've never heard of anybody calling Joe Biden. I've never heard nobody call Joe Biden. That's exactly what
Project Mockingbird was designed to do, and they've been using Project Mockingbird since 1965, and they in government documents have not stopped. They have not said that they have discontinued that part of their research is Project Mockingbird, which is putting out specific narratives to direct the populace's attention in very specific ways to get desired outcomes. So that way you can put forth policy, right? So that's exactly what that crap is. And some of people fall victim to it and act extremely cultish. And it's really scary. And our generation has to make that stop. We have to figure out how to stop this, or we're all going to go nuts against each other.
Why are we propagating like a political person who is also being propagated by cult-like members? Like, do you not see the red flags we're having to support somebody like Donald Trump? And then also on the flip side, like, for example, not all Trump supporters are racist, but all racists are probably Trump supporters. You've ever heard of that?
Maybe.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I can see the logic. I can see the logic.
There's not a single racist, KKK, whatever, like, all this shit. None of them are Democrats.
Well, they were started by mostly Democrats. That's how it started.
Yeah,
was
and the
mostly
Dixie Crowds.
Democrat.
Yes, I understand, but
Yeah,
that
yeah,
all
yeah,
flipped in
yeah.
the 1960s when the Democratic House basically put forth the Civil
Right.
Rights
All
Commission.
people are evil when they want to be evil. That's what you just found. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. All people are evil when they want to be evil. And some of those people, it's for various reasons. You know what I mean? It's brain chemistry, whatever you want to cite. Our generation has to figure this out. Our generation has to change the system enough to weed these suckers out and to change things. Like make sure psychopaths don't get all the way to the White House somehow. We have to take I'm feeling like we have to take guidance counselors carry the degree. I don't think it's just psychology, but it's like social work. We need to take that way more seriously. People that are in tune with upbringing, the mind, and all of that kind of stuff, and take it more seriously as a way to filter things, such as we could institute a far heavier guidance counselor presence in schools, because right now it's 250 kids per guidance counselor. How is that going to help any student?
Yeah,
You
but
need to
how
be visiting that guy more. He needs to be helping you along to be like, no, buddy, I love you, but you're not a doctor. You actually would do really well in auto shop.
I understand what you're saying, bro, but at the same time, it's like everyone who voted for Trump voted to defund those school counselors because they're cutting funds to the Department of Education.
I sure did, and he didn't say he was going to do that. He said he was going to cut the budget. The hell if I knew that he was going to go after all this other funding and use ICE the way he did. He tricked a bunch of us, man.
I mean,
don't
dude,
just
like,
say all
really,
of us that voted for him knew he was
it's
going to
just-
do all this.
It's just
I
crazy.
didn't know he was going to go this far.
Well, the thing is that a lot of people, I mean, bro, remember when we were talking about Project 2025? They kept mentioning it. They kept saying he's going to defund the Department of Education. They
How
said
much?
he would never do that.
Hey, when you bring that up, how much of Project 25 right now is fulfilled? In the 8 months he's been in the White House.
68%?
No way, because we'd be living in a different America. If 68% of it was fulfilled, we'd be living in a whole different place. That's dystopian nightmare. That Project 2025 is total dystopian nightmare.
Please blink. It's unnerving, dude. Fuck you, dude. I'm playing games. I'm locked.
Sorry, Scratch, if I'm blowing up your stuff here.
I actually no shy. I didn't blink that entire time. Okay. No, I'm trying to do 1v1s, okay? Just so you all know. Nothing against anybody who's arguing. So, do you think Donald Trump is corrupt, Cornerstone?
When I voted for him this last time, I was on the fence. At this time, I feel like he's just as corrupt as the Clintons, as everybody else. He was literally chosen so that guys like me that do have some intellect would vote for him off of what he said he was going to be, but he's doing the thing again. He's doing the thing that all these idiots have been doing for years, where they promise us the world and they never deliver. And yeah, so at this point, I think he's a shill. I think it's a game. I did want the budget to be looked over. He was talking about things like auditing Fort Knox and eliminating income taxes, which I don't see a necessary use of income taxes if the government has the availability to buy and sell goods. If it has the availability, and he was going to reduce that regulation so we could actually mine more resources. These were economic policies that he was touting. Tariffing other countries, whether I know it's a hot button issue, whether you like them or not, it's working. China is scared, and all the other countries are starting to do 0% tariffs, so that way we could have actual free trade. 0 here, 0 there. I like that stuff. The economics was what I was really interested in. I had no idea he was going to go nuts the way he went with other areas.
Okay.
Maybe I should have saw it coming.
Okay, so you said first one you said was like auditing the government. Is that correct?
Yeah, he ran on a principle that this time, since he wasn't going to be going for he can't go for a third term, nothing stands in his way to abolish the Fed, which is essentially auditing the government. It's getting rid of the centralized banking. It's getting rid of the centralized banking industry charter.
Okay, that's good. Very interesting. There's 1.4.
You think centralized banks are a good thing?
Yeah, generally.
So riddle me this. The National Treasury of the United States has all the capability of printing your dollars for you at 0% interest to you. The Federal Reserve Bank charges each dollar to you at 3% interest. Which would you rather have printing your money?
The what?
The Federal Reserve, every time it prints money, when it says it needs to print some odd amount of money to pay this debt or give to Ukraine or something like that, it comes with inflation, which is about a 3% tax necessarily. You're going to lose about 3% of the value of the dollars you have in your pocket because they just printed this amount of money. It can vary depending on the amount in circulation. The Treasury, the National Treasury, can only print money under its charter if the money is backed by a tangible good or asset. This can be oil, this could be several different things, lithium, it could be a combination of assets that equal the value. So therefore, when it prints a dollar, it's at 0 interest to you. You own the full dollar of the money because it's backed by goods.
Just because it's backed by goods doesn't mean inflation doesn't happen. What are you talking about?
When you print a dollar and it's backed by tangible assets and goods that you have on your ledger, it is now worth $1 of those tangible assets and goods, and thereby there is not inflation because you can't overprint the dollar. It still has to equal out with the tangible assets and goods.
Yes, you can.
Making
yeah, sorry, just give me a sec.
So when our money was backed by gold, right? When our money was backed by gold, it was extremely stable. Is that true or false?
That's true or false.
Yeah, over the time that we knew it was backed by gold. Was it very stable or was it very unstable?
What do you mean by stable?
Did it retain its value over the time period? I think it was like 120 years or something that we had our money and we decided to back it by tangible assets federally. Was over that time span, was the money that we were printing that we represented by gold, was it relatively stable in that period of time, or was it relatively unstable? Did it fluctuate in value a lot, losing value and gaining value?
I actually wouldn't.
As an asset. It actually was so damn stable, the entire world decided to use our currency as a rate of exchange internationally. That's how stable it was until the 1970s.
No.
And that is very
actually,
true.
That's actually
Yes,
not
it
true.
is very true.
No,
Yeah.
No, everybody started using our currency after the Bretton Woods Conference after World War II, when we officially became a fiat currency, and that was.
Do you remember the other currencies that were up for the debate and why they didn't win as a measure to stabilize international trade? It was because ours was backed by gold, because we had the largest economy backed by gold in the world. And they all knew that if they had US dollars, the Federal Reserve or the federal government had promised that at any time, if they wanted to, they could exchange those dollars and it would be given back to them reambused in gold weight at spot price. This was extremely enticing and no other country could offer it.
So since we got off the gold standard, how come countries haven't moved over to using a different currency then?
They are. They are beginning to. Before, they couldn't because we were in the Middle East. We had control of all of the oil, and we were forcing all of those countries to do business only in US dollars when trading in oil. This forced all the countries around the world to carry large reserves of US dollars, so that way they didn't have to convert their currency prior to purchasing the oil from Saudi Arabia, Iran. Now, we saw when we took out Saddam Hussein.
Can you give me an example of how we forced people to use U.S. dollars of
Yeah, the guy before Saddam Hussein did not want to. He was going to do oil deals and I believe rupees, and we took him out and installed Saddam Hussein. That was one of our guys. Saddam Hussein starts to do the same stuff, and what do? Take him out. Regime change. We've done this a million times. This is why we meddled around the world for so long. It was to keep the U.S. dominant.
Can you give me the evidence that the motivation for that from the U.S. State Department or U.S. government was because of currency? Can you give me the motivation?
It would take a really large graph and to show you every time that
I
they
was like,
screwed
could you,
around
like,
in
like
various
a
countries
memorandum,
that
any kind of
decided they
evidence?
didn't want to do oil
Okay.
contracts in U.S. dollars. Dude, there's a lot
So
of wars
real quick, so
that
are you
coincide the dates exactly with when these countries decided they didn't want to do business the way America told
Are
them
you
to.
familiar with India and China? Like what happened
Yeah.
with them? Did you know that India?
Are you talking about BRICS?
BRICS? Yes. Did you know that India started doing
Not
global
just
trades
India.
in its own currency?
Not just India either. And what did we do in response? What was our response?
What was it?
We rushed to Saudi Arabia. We rushed. We ran. We bombed in Syria in Obama's administration. These were all
nothing to do with what I'm
calculated,
talking
bro.
about. Holy shit! That's literally
It
nothing
does.
I'm
It
talking-
does.
I'm
Hey,
talking about
these
India,
are oil-rich
brother.
countries.
Calm down. I'm talking about India, okay? India. Did you know that after
Well,
a
yeah,
while,
but BRICS didn't just start yesterday. BRICS has been going on for
Wait,
quite
give me
some
a second,
time,
give me a
right?
second, give me a second. Did you know that? Did you know? So I'm gonna ask you, why didn't we take out the head of India of India when they started to use their local currency to do trades?
They don't. One, India does most of its oil trading through the pipelines that they have running through Turkey. Okay, so
talking about
one,
currency.
we don't. I got it, but we don't have a lot to do with that. We would have to blow up their pipelines or do something like that to their supply
I'm
line
asking-
because they can buy it in rupees if
So,
they
okay,
want
so I'm
to
asking-
from whoever they're
This
getting
is a
it out
complete red
of
herring, it's nothing
those
I'm talking about.
pipelines.
So once
The
again,
geopolitics, dude, this is a complex system with
can you
many
answer- so
inputs.
can you- no,
Geopolitics
you're just-
is
you're
at
pivoting
play.
on something else when it's not convenient to your narrative. So once again,
No. That's
why
not
didn't
what
we
I'm
take
doing.
out the head?
You know that's not what I'm
So
doing
ask the
too.
question, why didn't we take out the head of India when they started using their local currency instead of the U.S. dollars to trade oil?
There is probably a multi-factor of reasons exactly why we didn't do that, and you know it. There's not one singular reason. There was multiple
It
reasons.
goes against your narrative. I just want you understand
No.
that after a
Well,
while,
that would
India
what
just-
goes against my narrative is if the U.S. government was single-minded in all of their operations. That would go against my narrative. But you do things as the government. You're going to do things that check off multiple boxes on your list. Otherwise, you're probably not going to do that mission. You're not going to go in there and say, "Oh, well, they're doing business in a way that we don't like, and it's affecting this much of our trade or this much of our hegemony." But in 5 years, this is about to happen,
You
and they
think
don't
there
even
are
know it,
any
and it's
other
going to take down the whole thing. Are we going to care?
So just real quick.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
Like,
what
India
you're
may
saying.
not
So
be
could you
that
give
big of
me-
a
so Could
deal.
you give me like the other reasons for taking out the Saddam successor? Like, what were the other reasons?
You mean Saddam as his successor or the predecessor? You mean? Oh, gotcha. We were taking him out for the oil. I think it was an excuse to get us in there to those bases. We didn't build those bases till after we had Saddam Hussein installed. We got access to so many different areas to build permanent bases in the region. Later on, taken over. What was the other one? The Golden Triangle, the opium poppies. That was another reason they were of great interest to us as pharmaceuticals were increasing.
Okay, just.
There was
I'm
multiple
just gonna-
reasons,
I'm gonna
dude,
have
to
I'm
be
just
in the
gonna-
Middle East and
I'm
to
just gonna have
topple
to- I'm
a
just-
government
I'm just
that was
gonna-
not.
I'm just gonna have to ask you.
So they
for, like-
did. They did
Okay,
that. They went
okay,
that
I'm
far because there was
actually- I'm just gonna have
multiple
to ask
reasons
you-
for them to do
I'm
it.
just gonna have to ask you for a source. Okay, so I need a source that one of the motivations for taking out Saddam Hussein's predecessor was because he was trying to get away from American currency, and I also need the question answered. For the question answered of India on its own went back to using U.S. dollars after switching to their local currency for oil trades because it's that strong.
Wait, say that again?
India went back to using the U.S. dollar after it switched its own currency for trading oil.
They did?
Yes.
Would that explain to you why we didn't take out their leader then?
No, that would explain to
Would that be a good
would
explanation
no,
as to
that
why?
would-
Because we
that-
knew that was gonna
that's
happen.
not
We
my
have
point.
the
Can you stop-
CIA
can
and
you
we
stop
knew
yelling?
that shit was going down.
Can you stop yelling? So my point there would be, right, is that India or the U.S. probably knows, and to provide evidence otherwise, that the reason we took out Saddam's predecessor was because of like gold or whatever, knows that the U.S. dollar is strong enough that anybody who tries to deviate from that global standard isn't gonna fail. You don't have any reason to like go in there and like stop them. Gold on its own is just
Well-
a terrible currency to use. It's deflationary, which means that economies are generally going to tend to slow with it. 2, you can't control interest rates on it when you're in times of like economic need. And 3, there's generally a limited supply of it, so it doesn't really scale well with growing economies. It's just not something. We
Wait, you're talking about having your currency backed by tangible goods and assets?
Yes.
Really? So you don't see how every single time that's been done in history, we've had great economic success and great growth.
True.
Every time we've
Didn't the
backed our
Great
dollar
Depression
by
happen under
any
the-
tangible asset.
Didn't the Great Depression?
So-
Wait. The Great Depression happened under the gold standard, and it was such a shitty system that we literally suspended the gold standard, so that we moved over to a fiat currency for literally a couple of years, so we could do.
Didn't we have the Dust Bowl right before the Great Depression? That was one of the things that happened.
Yeah, and because of the gold standard
Depression from the Great
restricting the
Depression.
government's ability to actually like cope with the effects.
To defeat the Dust Bowl in the 1910s or whenever that was?
Yeah,
when
so
was that, dude? That was
the
way
Great-
long
wait,
ago.
You know the Grand Standard had like multiple factors to it, right?
That's what I was trying to get at. Is that the Great Depression wasn't just caused
Okay, but my
by
point-
being on the gold
my
standard or
point
off of
wasn't-
it.
my
There was like
point-
multitudes of
My
factors
point
that
wasn't
caused
so
it.
my point wasn't that the gold standard caused the Great Depression, but the gold standard is such a shitty system for actually fixing the Great Depression that we literally got off of it, moved over to a fiat currency, so we could do things like
Moved over to debt. Say it the right way. We moved over to a debt-based monetary system
I don't
because that's what that is.
And?
It's debt-based. So how long?
Do you think,
can
like,
debt
do
go?
you think when I say fiat, then I'm like trying to like obfuscate the fact that it's debt? Like I don't really care.
Well, no. We're talking about.
Okay, so once
it's
again,
very
okay,
simple.
this-
we're talking
okay,
about.
Actually, that was a nitpick.
You
that was a
decide that
nitpick.
you
that was a
believe me that my
that was
money's
a
worth
nitpick
it.
to avoid the broader point I made, which is that we absolutely
No!
No, it was the gold standard was such a shitty system that it wasn't good enough for our government to actually implement the kind of policies that we
It
needed.
wasn't easy enough
During-
for our government
during-
to pilfer
during-
money.
during
You're
the
right.
during the Great Depression. So we had to move off of it to a fiat-based currency so we could implement things like the New Deal.
Oh yeah, so we can print money from nowhere in order to give the government more money to give away to other individuals. That worked out really well for the Great Depression.
It literally
It was
did, yes.
definitely needed as an emergency
Yeah,
measure
it actually
to
was,
get us
yes.
out.
Yes.
Right, and it should have ended its charter after the emergency was averted. That would have been fiscally responsible. You use the credit card when you're really in an emergency. You just don't have the cash, but it has to be taken care of. But you don't keep using the credit card after that, do you? You pay it off.
But you can.
Well,
don't
you
need to pay-
sure
don't need to
can. You can pay that credit card off with another high interest credit card with another high interest credit card until the piper wants his money. Then he wants to get paid. And what happens to you?
You're fine.
You lose your car. You start losing assets like
No,
land.
that's not how that happens because the government's always
Wars
fine.
are started.
No.
You know it. You know it.
No, the government can always print more money to pay off its debts. No government will ever willingly default on its debt. Okay, that's like.
And no. Whoa. No, you can't. You can overprint yourself into oblivion where nobody wants to trade with you. You know that. Other countries will stop trading in your currency and all that
This
money
is a
comes
pivot
back
off
to you.
This is a pivot off your original point, which is that that eventually you're gonna have to pay up and default on existing debt when you know that's not true. You could governments.
Brazil, Argentina. I mean, these are recent and
No,
they show you that you're
defaulted-
wrong.
No, they defaulted on IMF loans. They didn't default on their own debt.
IMF loans, International Monetary Fund, it's a bank. They defaulted on their debt. They had a debt with the IMF.
Yeah,
International Monetary Fund is given out.
They didn't. Yes, Argentina doesn't have the ability to print U.S. dollars to pay off the IMF. We do. We're in debt
Correct.
to ourselves. So yes.
Correct.
Yes, Argentina can default on IMF loans. We can't because we can
But
only print
wait.
more of our own money to pay off that.
And Argentina can't print more of its own money?
It can't
And
print
just
U.S.
pay it
dollars.
off with inflation?
Wait, you understand?
No, but
the
it can't
IMF
print.
bills in US
Oh,
dollars,
but
USD.
wait, your thought should have worked for Argentina, shouldn't it have? They
No,
could have
because
printed their
I-
own money
no,
into
because
oblivion
IMF
to pay off the debt.
Okay, yes or no?
But
Our
wait,
IMF
then the
loans-
value becomes lower, and they'll never pay off the
our-
debt that way
our-
because the value of their currency is
our-
less valued against the debt.
Our
That's how it works.
Are IMF loans in USD? Yes or no?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yes sir,
is
they are. They are all
can
denominated in US. It's a U.S. ran organization.
Can Argentina print USD?
They could print Argentine money and convert it to USD. They could. And underneath your principle, they could print as much as they want and do that with no recourse of their own government. The problem is that once they go to pay that debt with a deflated currency, it won't actually keep up. It won't actually make the debt go away.
No, yeah, but the problem is that nobody wants Argentine money.
Because it's overinflated and worthless, and that's what happens when you overprint your money. That's what they've been doing for years, is overprinting their money through a central bank.
I'm glad we understand that countries who don't have currency sovereignty around the debt that they have can default on those loans, but debt that it is in their own currency, it is literally possible for those countries to actually default on that, unless they willingly do it. Great, I'm glad we can understand that.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, you can't use the Federal Reserve as a piggy bank. It doesn't. It's the money that's printed does have actual repercussions to printing it for your country. You're correct. You can actually tank your whole country by overprinting your money, which is not possible if it's backed by a tangible asset and audited.
That is absolute. You can take your whole country. Yes, you can take your whole country when it's backed by tangible.
No, I'm saying you can't overprint it. You can't tank it that way. Not the same way. Yes, you can tank your country in other ways, but you're not going to be able to tank it by overprinting money if it's physically represented by gold and audited.
Yeah, the problem with gold is that it just doesn't meet our needs of like constantly and rapidly expanding economy.
Yeah, there's not enough of it.
That needs a bigger money supply to keep up with it. And
You're
the
right.
fact that it's constantly deflating means that we're always having an the economy is always slightly slowing. Right? That's what
Mainstream economics is.
That's why we want slightly. That's why we want at least some amount of inflation within any economy.
Well, you have to have some amount of inflation in any economy because inflation equals growth. Most economists that talk about this kind of stuff right now are saying that you need a pool. You need a pool of assets that rise and fall in value to back your money off of, and that matches more or less. It's like the gold equivalent back then, because you're right, gold won't work right now. It never will work again. Economies need to move and expand and contract, just like you were saying. So the popular opinion is to take almost like an S&P 500 of asset classes like metals and rare this and diamonds and put them all into one lump and base cash off of that, and that is held as a store of the value. And so as those fluctuate, you can then, I don't know how, but mathematically calculate out your currency and it'll be much more stable. Is what the
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I just don't care to talk about this. I'm not gonna lie.